Welcome to Quips and Crits, another 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. In today's show, you will hear variant rules such as honor and madness checks, playable NPCs, proficiency dice, and brutal critical fails. Our talented cast of players are Sarah playing Tribute the Tiefling Paladin.
I don't know what color Tribute blushes because she's already pink. That was definitely happening when she left Saywood's office.
Katie playing Talos the Half-Orc Cleric.
Talos is actually kind of afraid of ghosts. Thank God he's a cleric and can turn undead.
Ransford playing Breeze the Tabaxi Bard.
You went for a swim?
Yes.
How'd it go?
That's not the party.
I'm sorry.
Alex playing Nikos the Eladrin Warlock.
Brace myself a bit, and I just lean over and I just let it go out. It's just like, ugh. I'm gonna have to do that again sometime.
Emily playing Cass the Half-Elf Fighter.
Well, since I have heroism, I feel like I'm not really thinking about beating a child.
And Courtney playing Adela, the Water Genasi Druid.
Don't quite care, I guess. I'm Adela.
I'm Dan the DM.
That was just straight rum. I mean, I enjoy it, but I was not prepared for that to just be a mouthful of rum.
Let's get back to the game.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do, Adela, Talos, you are level 3.
Yay! Oh. Screw this, I guess.
Yeah, I just didn't want the rest of us.
Just got hit by a tree.
I don't know how that happened. Cool.
Wait, he's been here the shortest.
Here are books for you to update.
Oh, sweet.
Everyone else, roll your dice to get level 3 health. You are not level 3 yet, but you get level 3 health.
Are we allowed to
I
ask
tried
what
to
we
most
did
of the
that let us level up, or?
The reason why Talos and Adela leveled up is because they did something that either they were meant to do, or their patrons their patrons deemed them to do. Talos, you went in to an Umberly stronghold and seen it collapsed. One of the mortal enemies of your god.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Fucking bullshit.
I don't get anything cool.
Adela learned a
except for
bunch about herself.
Which one?
Yeah, you
So, I
Kitchen.
think that has lots to do with it.
And Adela obviously went in and kind of unknowingly went and learned a lot about herself, which is going to help push her in her druidic story.
Does Kaz get more health?
Yes, Kaz levels up too.
Okay.
So Kaz levels up. But
And
Cass
Listel
doesn't.
levels up.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunately, you were born with cotton candy blue hair. You are clearly a pro tag. You don't level up that quick.
Yeah, I have white hair, I do.
Oh, so Nikos isn't the most sort of technicolor hair guy here.
Nope, my skin is pink, my hair is white.
No, there was definitely a moment when Tribute was born where Mama and Papa Tribute were standing like just where all the babies were, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" I don't know. She's a pro tag. Coming off at the end of those, stepping onto the ground, they are just slack-jawed, amazed at what they had just seen and what had transpired. Lano was smitten clearly by seeing Thundra, which, the brief reminder, is kind of an electric blue hair that glows, and the veins in her arms going into her chest, you see they glow with an electric power. And when she was summoning all of that, they glowed all over her body. Okay. But now that she's coming back down and shrinking back down to a reasonable height, only her arms, her forearms, and her biceps, and kind of her thighs down to her feet are just kind of still pulsing with like a heart. While her heart beats, you see the pulse of light in her veins. The rocks come to an end, and when you step off of them, they drop down to, looking back, you might suspect, infinitely falling. But above you, where two seemingly separate storms began to rage against each other, they have both dispersed. And you see the clouds are starting to break up and just kind of fizzle away into what is, honestly, the first time anyone has seen no storm clouds above Stormbringer Castle. The rain is completely stopped. The wind has calmed to a gentle breeze. And you stand before 3 guardians. What do you do?
Well, there's no castle anymore, so I guess there's nothing for you guys to guard.
Sorry, your life purpose is done now.
I'm gonna say to strength of paw. You want to go back to Tabaxi Town with us?
And he looks over at
I'm
Elwyn.
gonna roll persuasion. Can I?
Give it a roll.
I have traits. At 20.
Natural 20. All right. He looks over at Elwyn, and Elwyn is just staring into this massive hole, and he blinks and shakes his head and starts digging through his bag and starts pulling out pieces of paper that he's just furiously looking through.
His employee's manual.
Just in case something happens.
And he's just there's nothing here in case this happens.
They never suspected.
They never thought, what is... And he just gathers his composure and he just kind of like rolls up the parchment with a little bit of string and he puts it back and he says, I see you have made good here. Lano? Lano with his mouth open goes, wow. Elwood just doesn't have more to say to that, and Strength of Paw steps forward and says to you, Breeze, he says, I don't think so. I don't. Let's make something to eat. You guys look battered and hungry, and we'll talk over the fire.
Okay. That sounds reasonable.
So he, as we now understand, Breeze is only about like 5'4", 5'3". He's
5'4".
He's about Danzig's height.
So he's my height exactly.
So he's Katie's height exactly. So he just kind of puts his arm around you the best he can, and he turns and kind of walks you away from the group. And Lano just still stands there, and Ellen looks to you, Talos, and says, perhaps we should talk in the tent.
Probably you should.
Yes. He turns with Talos and walks away. So remaining is Nikos, Kaz, Cass, Lestel, Tribute, and Adela.
Did I become the party representative? Even
You
though
became-
I've been in the party the least.
I mean,
You have
yeah.
charisma.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
What's your charisma?
Modifiers 2.
Well, that and you're also the one who signed all the paperwork.
You've been
charisma.
signing paperwork.
Yeah.
You've got charisma, and most importantly, you've got insight, which is something that Nikos lacks.
True.
So,
You're also nice.
Yeah.
Just something the tribute lacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that neutral good. Got that.
And I'm smitten with... Well, not really smitten, not in that word, but I'm dealing with strength of paw.
Yeah. And
I'm
honestly,
busy.
if Talos did have, like, a job, I could see him in an office doing paperwork.
Passive aggressively doing paperwork? Yeah. So with this moment of state, does anybody want to say anything?
Yeah, sorry about the castle.
Lano nods. Thundra says, I didn't really care for it. Kind of run down, don't you think?
Understandable.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
That. Just thought I'd be polite, that's all.
Good.
I'm gonna look to Thunder and say, I think there's somewhere I need to take you.
Oh, any place that isn't here, I'm happy to go.
Okay. Can I take her to the cliff where we previously had the
Okay.
water that called me?
All right. You walk her to the edge of the cliff, and she stares out into the night sky.
Remember how I was asking you about Tracheus and how he looked and all that?
Yes?
This is where he called to me, kind of.
And she just looks out.
I don't know if it's only at night or...
You know, I don't know how long it's been since I've been here. But it looks bigger now. The whole thing just looks bigger now. Nothing more happens.
Okay.
And she turns and she walks back. Sitting at
Watch
sitting at the edge, Lano just kind of looks at you guys and goes, "Do you know her?"
Yeah.
Ish?
Vaguely.
Kind of.
No,
You're
but
not
I'd
there,
like to.
Adela.
Oh wait, I'm not there either.
Yeah.
So it's just them. I'm not there either.
Ish?
So,
Kind of?
Nikos casts in tribute. Do you know? No? Was she in there?
She was in there.
Yes.
For how long? She
Centuries? I think.
Were we keeping her in?
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. It kind of looks that way, yes.
Because we were told we were keeping people out.
Well, that's part of keeping her in. Because when we went in, we got her out.
Well, there was kind of a goddess keeping her in. It wasn't more you guys were keeping her in. I don't know when the guardian thing started to protect people from the castle, or...
As long as the Jade Reef has stood, as far as I know.
Yeah, well...
Someone's always been out here.
Yeah, well, she was being kept prisoner by Umberly.
Everyone turns it correct.
Wow.
Sounds like you have a question for the Jade Reef, then. Or, rather, the Jade Council. The Jade Reef can't talk.
You know, that's all way over my head. I'm sure Elwyn will talk to him about it, get it taken care of. So she's been there the whole time, huh? She looks healthy. Really healthy. For centuries, you know?
She didn't when we found her.
She's gotten her strength back now, though.
Oh.
It's like it's a mystic, like, goddess-like thing. We can't hope to understand it.
Okay. And he kind of like looks over to the cliffside where they're standing and just kind of stares for a little bit longer, and he says, "You're probably hungry. She's probably hungry. We'll cook the big fish."
Maybe wait on the big fish.
She might consider fish friends.
They're
Ooh.
like,
She's a
they're like
lot-
water people.
Oh, like the other blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't think about that. Do you think she likes pineapple cake?
Yes, a lot.
Only one way to find out.
And he just runs off to his town.
You good
So
there,
I'm
Ramsay?
gonna make an insight check for Nikos. This is a lot better than I thought he'd do. 15. So he's gonna turn around and he's gonna be like, I think he likes her.
I'm gonna turn away from Nikos.
So anyway, literally everyone else. So in front of you now, you see that there is the large tree trunk that the day before you were getting beaten around with. You see that there's one kind of, like to a right angle of it, in front of a large fire that has been burning and crackling. It looks like it just was started. You see that there's some pots and pans scattered about, and some crates with food in them. It looks like they were just kind of settling down to eat when you had all come from the crashing castle inside the tent with Elwyn and Talos. Elwyn turns to you and says, "You didn't tell us that you were going to go in and destroy the castle."
That was never our intention.
Okay.
There were creatures inside that destroyed the castle.
Okay. I think it's a mistake on my part. I should have asked what you were doing in the castle. Not that I'm angry or anything. I suppose if you go in, you're welcome to do as you wish. No one has ever stopped anyone before if they've earned their way in. I just don't have paperwork for this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to do now either. Well, I suppose you should start looking for a new job. I'm sorry that we took this opportunity from you.
This is a volunteer thing. I'm getting paid an amount that will go into an account, and then I'll receive it at the year's end. I am going to send a hook to the reef. You needn't worry. I will send them. Notice that you will be coming at some time.
All right.
right.
Do take your time, because I imagine as soon as they find out that castle has fallen, the council is going to be a bit busy.
I believe that.
So take your time, see the sights, stay a few days. But we were going to maintain our post.
Figured that would be best.
I think so.
Just in case anything, God forbid, ever come out of that hole.
Yes. I realize now how little we know about this gaping hole in our island, and we should know more. I think I do believe this is something to celebrate, though, because that has always been an ominous figure in the distance for anybody who would travel by. I do think tonight requires a feast. Seeing as how we will be leaving soon, apparently, there's no need to ration our food.
Yeah, I suppose the supplies we delivered were a bit unnecessary, but I'm sure Lano
time makes
enjoyed,
fools of us all.
you know, what he got.
Well, we might even convince Lano to share some of those freaking cakes. We get 3 drops a year, and he eats all of them.
Bless him. A child.
I'll punch up some paperwork. I'll send it on the Hawk in the morning, and I suppose you can collect your reward maybe in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Give them some time, and I'll have some paperwork just for you to sign. Say you were here, who was with you. I don't know how it's going to be taken.
I'm not quite sure either.
You could be hailed as heroes, or what is that called when you go somewhere and you destroy something important?
Vandals?
Vandals. Heroes or vandals?
I'm hoping for the former, but
As am I,
we'll
but
see.
paperwork must be done. Go out, tell Strength of Paul and Lano that we will be having a feast.
All right, I certainly will.
There's that big fish we just got. We might cook it up.
Yeah, I'm questioning whether our giant female guest will enjoy that, but we'll see.
She'll have soup.
That's fair.
So, leaving the tent, Elwyn sits down at his desk and begins to pen and ink to paper, and walking over towards the fire, Strength of Paw and Breeze. You get over the fire and you sit down at one of the logs. You see where Strength of Paw, he sits in a very specific location. You see it could fit, this log could fit about 3 people. He kind of sits between where 2 would sit, so it's only comfortable for 1. And you see at the left side, it looks like where he's been digging his claws and just kind of tearing up the wood. He invites you to sit by his right.
I'll sit.
And he says, I don't think I'm going to return to Tabaxi Town. I gave up a life there. I gave up immortality there.
Was that frowned upon?
No, not at all. I gave it to my son, Strength of Claw, and I'm happy for him. But I don't want to go back there where I'm the only one who dies.
You won't be the only one. I'll be with you.
Oh.
You're gonna stay for the rest of your life?
I'm not asking you to stay. I'm just saying we're gonna go and do stuff and then leave. I'm just saying maybe it'd be good to see your son one more time.
And I agree, and I will go back to see him soon.
Why not with us?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed to leave yet.
Yeah,
I'm still obligated to this. I volunteered for this. There's no point in running away from it when I'm allowed to go, maybe. But I'm not. Maybe it'd be too hard to stay. If I go, maybe it'll be hard to leave again. I don't know. There's clearly something with me that I need to work out.
Okay. I think I sort of understand. And I respect your decision. I just wanted to ask because you seem like a good guy. You're the first sensible Tabaxi I've seen in quite a while.
Not a lot of them running around out there.
I've only met one other.
Yeah?
His name was Frisky.
Ew.
Ever met him?
Well, I haven't met anybody. I've been here for about 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
So, Unless he came here to try to get in. That sound like him?
Were you there when the sun god was crowned?
No. To my knowledge, he was found a couple days ago. He came from the trees, a glowing ball of the sun's energy, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
You know, when you don't have to abide by that for the rest of eternity, and you got a time limit, you kind of put that shit aside. Cool, it's the sun god. Doesn't do a lot for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're mortal.
Yeah, mortality's a bitch.
Even more of a bitch when you know the benefits of the other options.
So what about you? You might be immortal. Has that sunk in yet? Did you jump off of something really tall yet?
I don't really want to.
I wouldn't suggest it.
Because the way you described it, you said only one can be immortal each time.
Right.
And I have 2 other siblings. So there's a decent chance that
not
they're
you,
immortal
yeah.
and I could just die. Which, honestly, I wouldn't be too mad about. I've lived my whole life as a mortal and it hasn't been a horrible one.
Really?
No.
Because I've hundreds and hundreds of years and I think I'm terrified to die. But I think that's what makes this fun.
I've seen people die. It's not the best, but in some cases it is for the best.
Interesting.
Have you ever seen someone suffering and know that the only way that they'll get out of that suffering is to die?
Yeah, but I did that to them.
I forgot you're
Yeah.
you.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if that someone was someone you knew.
Ew.
Yeah.
I feel like I should let you know something here.
What's that?
Immortality is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll never... It's hard for you to die. If you spend the rest of your life in your house, you'll never die.
So what you're saying is I could never die of old age, but I could be killed.
Or disease.
Or disease.
Or, like, just some would be mortal wounds. Like this. If I ripped your spine out, you'd die. If I removed your head from your body, you'd die. But if I sawed off your hand and you didn't get medical attention, it wouldn't kill you. You wouldn't bleed out.
Okay. I see. But
Your body is gonna take that damage. It'll do the best it can to come back from it. The 5-day war, immortal Tabaxi died. Because their body can't compensate for the damage.
So we don't heal any differently than normal people. We don't heal faster.
You just heal better.
Just better.
Not faster, better. No infections.
Okay.
Just good for you if you're traveling and he just kind of like pats your like inner leg awkwardly.
Oh.
So, you got room to play with? Don't get stupid.
I won't.
And at this time, Talos, you come back over to the fire. Adela, you and Thunder come back over to the fire. And the conversation with Lano has wrapped up. Presumably everyone else coming back over the fire. Breeze?
Seeing the right side was all scratched up, and I'm sitting on the left side was all scratched up. I'm sitting on the right side. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit, just enough for my hand, and I'm gonna do the same.
Okay.
Because clearly this log is his. So.
Right. Nikos, you, Tribute, Cass, Listel, you've all come towards the fire.
Yeah.
Talos, do you have anything you want to tell them?
I was told by Elwyn we'd be having a feast tonight.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
I'm gonna cook that big fish!
Fish? I haven't had good fish.
I buried it under my bed.
That's the best way to have it.
Yeah.
Old family tradition.
I'm gonna convene with anyone I can about Do you think Thunder will be offended by the big fish?
I think so.
I'm just walking around like, fish, fish, fish.
But Thunder leans in and goes, "No, that's fine."
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Just had to check. I know Adela doesn't eat fish.
Really? No. Wow. So that you're all sitting together, this is kind of the party's all together. You have Thunder with you. Everyone else is up now. They're getting food. You see that the fire's being stoked. The big fish, strength of paws, just dragging it out. Like a big smile on his face. He's pulling it through what is still mud and dirt. Everyone's starting to prepare for this feast. They're going to make you guys a feast. Is there anything you want to talk about? Where we're going next? What the plan is from here? Everyone's been kind of given some information.
Kaz.
Yes.
I think it's time we attempt our performance again. We have just triumphed, and we're about to have a feast. While the fish is cooking, it's shanty time.
Remember how bad it went last time?
I think that's why it's time to try again.
Look, we could fall into this fire and die.
We could step back from the fire so we're not in danger. Our voices will carry.
Says, Cass, will you catch me?
I'll catch you.
Thank you, please. All right. All right, go ahead and throw Kaz's performance check.
Oh, good.
Yeah, let everyone roll for that. That sounds good.
All right. Breeze?
Oh boy.
Did I roll 2d4s? Is that what the times 2
No,
is?
he has.
or-
He just has proficiency. He has jack of all trades on most everything else.
It's gonna be.
So
Okay.
just don't go. You know, roll the d4. Give it a roll.
It's gonna be
Okay.
a 7. Not
7,
that bad.
excellent.
Not that bad.
I mean, like below average.
That's 18 and a 1.
Okay, plus his
That's 22.
Okay, 22. So, so Breeze and Kaz, they both pull out their lutes, and they take, you take 3 steps back from the fire, and Kaz goes, no, and takes 2 more steps back. And he bows his legs, and he looks at you, Breeze, and he's got this look of are we gonna do this?
Bow my legs too.
Raises his hand up, and he goes, oh! And he starts playing, and as soon as Breeze strikes, his foot slips in the mud and just boom falls right down.
But I continue singing.
It's just bubbling up from the mud, and Kaz puts on a pretty good performance with a nice accompaniment with a little bit of slapstick
While I'm on the
comedy
ground,
from Breeze.
While I'm on the ground, I'm gonna kind of roll my feet in a circle around.
You do
Kaz.
this, and he just kind of jumps over your legs, like that game we played in school as kids.
I really thought the next words out of your mouth were going to be who lives in a pineapple under the sea.
And he
I was ready to sing that. I was ready to duet that with you.
Listen, I've been trying to avoid copyright issues. I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of them.
It's fair use, I think.
SpongeBob SquarePants? No, it's not fair use. I'm pretty sure.
Parodies.
Absolutely not.
Parody, that's true.
Parody
See,
is
you
fine.
got about as much as you got out before it's the maximum amount of copyright.
Before Tom Kenny's knocking on my door, tick, 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 it's time to pay. So, with Breeze and Kaz putting on their very best slapstick musical, you're still sitting around the fire. What's the plan? What do you guys want to talk about? If anything at all, or we can move towards dinner.
I'm just going to be say, well, this is quite the adventure. I didn't think I'd be destroying a castle when I left home. I was thinking I was going to avoid breaking any more stuff.
Embrace what you're good at.
I wish
You know
I
what?
destroyed a castle
Why not?
sooner.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of fun.
If you think about it, we didn't destroy the castle. She did.
Yeah, go
I don't
home,
think,
tell
I
her
don't think
what
we
you're
expected to destroy a
Castle
castle.
destroyer.
I expected to destroy the castle. I was
Castle
going to
crashers.
destroy the castle.
I suppose one person.
Dan, are we done with our performance now?
No.
Okay, we're still.
All right, so you're still in the mud, unfortunately.
I just mumble that.
It wasn't my intention until I found what God was there.
It's fine. My elf ears picked it up.
Happy accidents, you know.
So with this, the end of the first song closes and you're able to get that. Kaz reaches down to help you up and kind of wipe some of the schmuck off of you. And he says, why don't you go sit and talk? I'm just going wherever you guys are going. So you just sit down and I'll keep the ambience.
I'm going to say, Kaz, thanks for being a good sport and not stopping when I fucked up.
No, I've never been more inspired from this point. So you're joined by Breeze, who's covered in mud. Try not to laugh.
I'm going to wipe a little bit of mud off my face. So we're going to Tabaxi Town, right? Sun God? Tell us where Aunt Anna is.
I mean, why not?
Where my siblings are. 2 birds, 1 stone. And I can also find out if I'm immortal, which would be a huge asset to our group. If you have an immortal guy.
I mean, we already have one.
If we have 2 immortal guys?
Yes. We don't know that Anna's there, but...
We know that the Sun God can see all.
Yes.
And I'm not staying.
And I believe...
No, we didn't expect you.
We've done enough that you deserve what you wanted.
Breeze, 2 victories in a day.
Alright.
I'm trying to be the fair parent. You know, we did what we wanted. Now we can do what you want.
Alright.
Well, speaking of, Thunder pipes up. I think I owe you guys something. You saved me, and you helped me with with defeating whatever the hell that thing was. And she reaches down and she grabs the handle of Lano's big tree trunk, and she just kind of effortlessly picks it up, and she squeezes it, and you see her arms light up, and it cracks into like a solid, jagged chunk that looks like a thunderbolt. And she sits down, puts it on her lap. She says, this is imbued with a little bit of my power. It's a lightning javelin. You throw it, fucking lightning comes out of it. Pretty simple, right?
Single use?
No. Use it a couple times. She just hands it out there for whomever would like it.
How big is it?
It's the size of a javelin. It's probably about like
maybe
like 4.5, 5 foot.
So.
Yeah, like the whole thing exploded as if it was a mold around this thing.
Okay.
I got
rock, paper, scissors?
I got the mental image of Breeze being smaller than this javelin, and just every time he rolls, he just throws it straight to the ground.
This is roughly like this comes up to about your shoulders. This thing probably weighs like a quarter of you.
Really? It's that heavy?
Yes.
Looks at Cass.
This would be better for me if I didn't have 0 strength.
I guess I'll take it.
All right. She'll hand it to you, and I will get you the exact stats for it when we move on from Stormbringer Castle. It is a magical item.
Okay.
And she just kind of looks around and she says, well, where's that feast? I haven't eaten in a long time. And at this time, you see
I'm gonna hand her some jerky.
This big marlin. Hold on. This big
you
marlin.
see Nikos get a little queasy. And
This big marlin comes over and Strength of Paul just kind of moves it over by the fire. And Lano is just like standing next to him, like just like just like eyes wide, mouth open, and he's holding this long iron rod in his hand, and he's just still. He's just froze where he is. And Strength of Paul's like, come on, man, what are you doing? Stick it in, get it through there, get it in there. And he's just like blush, and then Thundra comes over, and she's like, oh, I know this one, and she takes the iron rod, and she grabs the marlin, and with one hand in the marlin, and with the great rod, she just slams it straight through the entire thing, ripping out blood out of the back.
Man.
How does Nikos feel about that, just out of curiosity?
well, let's see.
How does Adela feel about that, out of curiosity?
Adele's just gonna look away.
Alright, so
Yep.
Constitution?
That sounds good.
Alright. So, back to the abilities page. Hang on.
And she takes it and she lays it down on the 2 pieces of wood that make the spick that it would rotate and cook on.
Alright, so that's soft 20.
You're good. You're holding it together. It was there. You seen it, and like your stomach flipped upside down for a minute, but you kept it down.
Yeah.
What was the roll?
I was rolling inside. I got 14. I was rolling inside to see if I could tell that Lana was smitten. Can I ready in action?
4.
I want the first time Lano tries to talk to Thunder, I want to cast Bardic Inspiration on him.
Oh
my
you were gonna cast like
God.
thaumaturgy or something to make a really bad fart.
All right.
No, I want him to
Mark off the Bardic Inspiration. We'll put it where it needs to be. So the food is getting prepared. You see that small skillets, pots, and pans are placed on. Vegetables are being fried. Potatoes are being cut and diced. Water is being pulled up from the cliffside to add to some of the cooking. Is there anything anyone can do to contribute to this? A meal is being prepared. Was anyone in their past lives or before they came out here, did they cook? Did they have any kind of skills that would help prepare a feast for everyone? What can you contribute to this?
I was part of a traveling merchant group, so I know how to cook on a campfire, so I'll help out.
Okay, so you want to help cook?
A little bit.
Nikos, does he have anything to contribute?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Cass.
Our mom was a cook, but I don't know if that passed down to us.
One way to find out. Spent a lot of time. It was just.
I mean, Kaz was put in the kitchen.
That's true.
You've been around nice food for a long time. Your mom cooks nice food. I imagine Cass and Kaz had pretty good dinners at the house when she was home cooking.
Yeah.
It's not like they came home to like lower crust bread and boiled beets. So you wanna try and get in there and help cook?
Sure.
All right. So Cass and Breeze are gonna be helping to cook. Talos.
I was gonna say, since they're cooking fish and I was a sailor, I don't know if I would have helped with meals. I wanted to see if I could discover that, if I knew that about myself.
What you would know at least how to properly fillet the fish.
Right.
So you can help by filleting fish.
Okay.
Tribute.
Listen, man, I'm not a cook.
I'm here to enjoy
I
the food.
can chop some vegetables because I got chopping skills.
There's a lot of other things. They have to go find a new log to sit on. There has to be what they're going to eat off of. There's a single campfire that's starting to die out. The tents are a fair distance away, and there's still food that can be served from there. Or you could even go into the woods and maybe scavenge something. Hold on. Tribute. What skills did she have before she was a paladin?
Not cooking skills. I can hold a plate and look pretty.
You know what? Tribute for Breeze, that's all you need to do.
Serving. Got it.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a plate. I'm gonna get some of the choice fruits they got.
Yep.
And I'm going to offer them to everybody, but I'm going to skip Breeze.
Okay.
You're the pretty rock.
Okay. Nikos.
I was saying that I was thinking that at the very least, Nikos can cast light to give us some more light around here. Like just find like a big stick, stick it in the ground, cast light on the top of it, and we've got like a torch, basically.
Okay. No, that's great. All right, Adela. All right, Adela. While you're figuring that out, so we're gonna have two cooks by the fire. As you get over there to see, you see that Strength of Paw, Elwyn, and Lano. Strength of Paw and Elwyn, not cooks. Not cooks. Strength of Paw, in his village setting, he was given food. Elwyn, he works for the Jade Council. He doesn't cook.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go over there, you see that the vegetables, they're in a stew, but you see that the water, despite the pot, despite being over this massive fire, isn't boiling. Because there's so much water, that there's too little water, in fact, to how much vegetables are in there. You see that the fish is a bit too high up, and it doesn't seem like it's going to cook at all very quickly. So there's vegetables cooking, there's even smaller scraps of meat, kind of like beef and pork strips being cooked on there. Breeze, what do you do with this fire? What do you do to enhance the meal?
I'm going to kind of dart in front of Paul and Elwyn and say, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is all wrong. You don't have enough water, your fish is too high, go away. Go handle this.
Get out of my kitchen.
Go sit down.
They just look at each other and they shrug their shoulders because they can't do better. So yeah, they go and they sit down.
Before they sit down, I'm going to say, Paul, go get some more water, please. More fresh water.
And he thumbs up and he goes off to his tent.
And Elwyn, seasonings. Whatever seasonings you have.
He just grabs a handful of grass. I'm just kidding, I've got more.
I'm gonna pat him on his thigh. That's a good one.
And he walks away. So, all right. So, Breeze and Cass.
I'm gonna ask Cass. Can you have a pan?
Do I have a pan?
A pan?
There's plenty to use.
Okay, I'm gonna get. They have like a big cast iron. I'm gonna ask Cass. Do you have any recipes actually that you want to make? Because I have something in mind.
Do I have any recipes?
Up to you. Do you? How much did you sit by your mother's side while she cooked?
Probably a lot. So.
Then yeah, you'd have
Okay.
a few.
Yeah, I have a recipe.
You have anything in mind that you want to make with the fish? Because I was thinking about making like cutting filleting the fish and making some like marlin fillets and putting them in the pan and kind of
Make a nice sauce for it.
go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pan sear these.
All right. So, Breeze, you're going to be handling vegetables. Cass, you're going to be handling kind of the smaller cuts of meat. So, what I'm going to need is performance, nature, or survival.
I'm just laughing because you asked the one person who never eats fish how she wants to make the fish.
She can make the stew.
That's so funny to me.
It's not so bad.
All right, Breeze with a 25.
26.
26. You've got these vegetables, you've got the extra water, and it's got a good boil, and you feel like they've got a crisp outside, soft inside.
The fish, is it filleted and everything?
You're handling the vegetables.
I wanted to do the fish.
The fish is getting taken care of.
Okay.
So you're getting these vegetables, they're getting nice cooked up, they're nice and seasoned, they're going to be done just in time to eat. Cass.
13.
13. So you grab some of these choice cuts that have been kind of separated. You've got a pan down, and you find that there's still a little bit of you find like a little basket where there's some fat in it. Grease up the pan, and you start dropping them in. See, it's starting to burn a little bit, but you're keeping it together. You're keeping them flipped, and you have a nice crispy outside and a nice tender inside. You've got a good cook there. Nikos.
Like I said, I'm gonna
Roll me a nature or survival.
Okay. Both of those are wisdom. Great.
Your dump stat.
Yay. Oh. 16. I'm rolling good tonight. And I probably just jinxed myself.
Yep.
So you wandered a little bit towards toward the wood line, a little bit down that hill, and you find where it looks like there's a fresh strike of lightning to a tree, and you see that there's a branch that looks like it might be just maybe, looking at it, your mind says, no, that's too heavy.
Alright.
But, can Nikos afford to do that now? Can Nikos afford to look at something and go, I can't do that?
No, he's not going to.
Give me a strength check.
He is absolutely going to try, and it's good. My other dump stat.
I was hoping, honestly.
Oh, natural 1.
Really?
There we go.
Yeah,
There's the karma.
right there. Natural 1.
You did jinx it.
That didn't
I
take
did
very
jinx
long.
myself.
I knew it.
Did you know you're not on the Nat 20 list at all?
Really?
I mean, 2.5 sessions in.
Well, yeah.
Listen, Andre was here for one session, and he's on both.
That's true. Nikos, you roll up your sleeves, you hike up your robes, you grab onto this thing, and you pull with all of your might, and you realize it's starting to lift. And when you open your eyes, you're sinking into the mud, and you're about chest height when your feet finally touch solid ground.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna face step out of the mud. And wait a minute. I have a Dungeoneer's pack. I have 50 feet of rope. I'm gonna tie a rope to the log and try and pull it.
Okay. Give me another strength check.
Alright. So that's not a natural one.
But it is a soft one.
It is a soft one.
The saddest of ones.
You tie this rope around,
Uh-huh.
and you've got it figured out. So you start letting out all 50 feet, and you're about 20 feet away from where everyone's at. And you turn and you look, everyone kind of looks back to you, and you're ready to show them your brilliant idea. And you just squat down, and you pull on this rope, and everyone sees Nikos go, and nothing happens.
Alright.
So we can all see this?
Everyone can see this.
I'm gonna like... who's near me? Who's near me? Just...
Strength of Paw will stand up and he'll just like... I see it, yeah. And he starts pulling the rope with you. And with the help of Strength of Paw, you're able to pull this rope up.
All right.
Lano comes over and he stands it up, and he just kind of like he's going to push it into the ground, but then he kind of looks to see where he's at, and then kind of walks around it a little bit more, and then pushes it into the ground to where you can cast your spell on it.
Yeah, and I cast Light, and I make a nice little. It looks like a spark
lighting.
of. Yeah, mood lighting. But it looks like a spark of daylight, just sitting on top of the log. So it's just like we've got a little star on top, sitting on top of the log.
All right, very good. Talos,
Yes.
you look over and you see this marlin is A, too high up to cook, and B, it's too thick. This thing is never going to cook all the way through,
Right.
even if they did it all night. It'll burn to the core before it's edible.
Mm-hmm.
And as a sailor having to eat a lot of fish, you know how to properly gut one, fillet it, and make sure that you get all of the good bits and none of the stuff from the puffer fish that kills you. So, nature or survival,
Okay.
that you would be able to just slice this thing up so it can cook in time for dinner.
Going with survival. That would be 17.
With experience, you pull out your small knife, and with just a clean swipe all the way across, a great chunk of the flesh falls into your arms, to which you can hand it down to Cass, who's going to chop it up and continue to cook it. Tribute.
Yes.
You are walking around, kind of playing up the 50s waitress style, offering people
That's
fruit,
exactly what I want.
fresh drinks. You want to break us off a piece of that?
Kit Kat bar?
What do you mean?
I just
I'm so
what is that like when she walks around? She's got her shield on her hand with like drinks and fruit. Everyone's kind of running around working hard at the fire.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Got a couple of like cups and like a pitcher. Do they have more to drink than water?
They do have fresh fruit juice.
We'll get some fruit juice up in here.
Okay.
We're feeling fancy tonight. So some fruit juice. We'll have some fresh fruit around the plate for like a garnish, so it looks nice. And I'm gonna go over to the people who are hard at work. And so Cass is like doing her best to make sure this fish cooks. I'm just kind of lean down like, do you want something to keep you going?
Sure. Surprise me.
Roll a performance. We're going to see if this is endearing or terrifying.
Ooh, all
you
those
got a
dice went
4.
everywhere. Ooh, and this is a 14. So 14 plus 4 plus 3 adds up to 21.
21. You look up from this pan that is almost just rotating food in and out of it, and you see Tribute just leaned over, like hand on a hip with the shield down, with this big goofy smile on her face, offering you a fresh drink.
Can I see this?
Everyone, like everyone is, except for you apparently, Breeze. Everyone's getting a round of this. Do you skip, Breeze?
I mean, I'll come to him last.
You getting
Best for last.
that's best for last. Adela, what was your contribution?
No, she kind of took what I was going to do, because I was going to take a pitcher and purify the water in it. Just take some water from and kind of purify it and take water and pass it around.
I like the idea better that Tribute is walking around and pouring this pitcher, and then every time like she goes to someone else, it's always full, and Adela's just walking around pulling out some of her hair and putting it in the putting it in, and then just pouring the seawater on her head to restock it.
The pitcher always full, I guess. Yeah.
You're able to purify the water that is being brought up over the side. The food most commonly for everybody is that it's cooked with seawater, so everything has kind of like a slimy, salty texture.
Oh, I can take that away.
Today's meals are going to not be that way. They're going to have a nice crisp texture because of the fresh water. There's really no accompanying roll for that, so roll a d20.
Wow.
Why?
Don't forget to add that.
So as you're going around purifying water, you accidentally purify the water that Breeze is cooking with, and all of the spice
seasoning.
unknowingly has been removed. Ransford's giving Courtney a look. Like,
I don't know that happened necessarily.
Breeze is gonna cry. When no one likes his food, he's gonna cry.
with that, a great meal has been served. Thundra sits on the ground, and she is just elated to be with everyone here. Kaz has his plate, and he's just kind of letting it sit. He's kind of keeping just some ambient music going on. He stops every now and then to take a few bites. But you're sitting with Listel, Lano, Elwyn, Strength of Paw, Thundra. The meals are being served. Lano goes into his tent and brings out just enough cake for everyone.
He portioned it real nice.
like everyone else has like.
Does it look like it's cut, or like he just grabbed it with his hands?
They're cut, like they're all perfectly cut individual pieces. You assume that's the way it's come, and he kind of brings them out on like hard leaves, and you see that one piece is actually brought out on like a nice leaf, and you see it's got a little extra portion.
I know who that's for. No.
Talos sees it and he goes, ooh, and then like he gets handed a regular ass piece. Oh, now he's afraid of ghosts and like some pineapple upside down cake. A nice meal is had, and the night is beginning to wrap up. The fire is starting to die down. If there's any last thoughts or questions of the night, you've decided to go to Tabaxi Town. What would you like to discuss?
I did have a question for Sarah. When you were offering your drinks and garnish, if you offered to me, being the uncultured sailor I am, I'd probably eat the garnish. I just wanted you to know that.
I mean, you're welcome to. It's also
I'm
for
like,
eating.
oh, juice and fruit. All right. Cool.
That's important because Talos is like, yeah, give me the fruit instead. I don't want scurvy.
Exactly.
Talos is on it. He knows. So the night is settling to a close.
I am going to ask a question of, was it Strength of Paw, I'm going to say.
Yes.
You say this sun god, he sees everything, right?
Yes. He is the sun. You see, when the sun god is in his form as the sun, he runs around the world. And once every 100 years, he takes a break and just kind of lets the sun go on its own. Kind of like rolling a ball, but he can only do that for like 30 years or so before the sun starts to slow. So you'll notice every year the sun is out less. That means he goes back and he runs it faster, so it keeps going. And if he doesn't ever go back, the sun would stop.
Oh.
And, shit would be bad.
I live in a world of almost eternal twilight, so it's almost always either dusk or dawn.
Sounds muggy.
It's actually quite beautiful.
Hmm.
Everything has a nice little twilight twinge.
I should visit that someday.
It would be incredibly hard for you to do so, but I welcome the opportunity.
Oh. I'll try.
Alright. So, because I assume that if we all go there, I'm hoping we'll each get a chance to ask him something. There's someone I have been tasked with finding. It's not a thing that, well, I've got one last, let me just put it, I've got one last chance, and there's some guy in the way, and I need to find him.
Oh. Sounds serious.
Well, I mean, it is. It is. I right now, I don't think I would be able to stop unless I found him.
Well, I hope you find him. I think I'm going to be starting off on my own journey soon, so I hope you find who you're looking for.
And I hope you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, me too. Suck if I went out there and didn't find shit. Turns out being immortal in a village is better? That would suck. I gave that up.
What are you looking for, Paul?
I don't know. I'm gonna find it, though.
I believe that. How can we meet against him?
Do you plan on leaving the whole island soon?
No, but it's a decent-sized island.
I have a feeling we'll run across it again. It's not a big island. It's like a day's walk.
That's true.
I mean, if you shout loud enough, I'll probably hear you.
I'm gonna test that.
Yeah, well. Anyone else?
I wanted to talk to Thundra a little bit.
Okay.
So, very cool lightning spears aside, perhaps you could give us a little bit of insight. Our Adela has lost her memories. She might appreciate a little bit of insight into where she came from.
Is that true, Adela?
I don't really remember much, no.
So, Valoran and Traquius, no memories. The elemental conflict?
No.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot to unload on someone. What do you want to know? I feel like there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that I can tell you about, but I can't explain. I think it'd be easier if you ask me, and I'll tell you.
Without knowing really what I don't remember, I don't know what to ask.
Well, I can tell you this. An Adela is something akin to like the Sequus Aquarium or something like that. You were created by Traquius and Valoran. You were made as kind of a... You were specifically made far before the elemental conflict in order to... If the Forge King, Estok, was to try and invade or start planning to invade the water realm, you were specifically made to kill his foot soldiers called Azir. They don't do good with water because they're big tin cans made of fire, and all you pretty much do is hug them to death. So I've seen that once or twice. It's pretty fun to watch. The Adela usually dies, but we can always reconstitute through the... Do you know about the Trident reconstitution?
Yes.
We can always usually do
That's
that.
already happened at least once.
Though we've always kept it scant because there weren't a lot of Tridents to do that with, and we didn't want to put them in danger. So the Adelas were usually kept in rest till they were needed. Traquius created the body of the Adela, but it was Valoran who gave it life. It was Valoran who gave you a single track, powerful mind that you don't know may be a form of blessing. So, have you met more Adela? There should be a lot.
No.
What happened at the end of the elemental conflict? Who won?
We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Oh,
Can I do a history check to see if I've heard any stories sailing?
give it a roll.
Actually, that's something like the people of the Feywild might have a different story than the people of the real
10.
world. So
Okay, go ahead, roll a history. 10.
You know what? I'm gonna roll history too because I might have heard about this as a merchant.
With a 10, you're unfamiliar with it.
Alright.
6.
put me down on the natural 20 list finally
Hey, there we go.
We just had to mention it.
with a total of 22.
No, 14. Because Jack of all trades is half.
You, Breeze, you're not aware of it.
I made Dan have to think.
Because I had told myself in preparation of this is there was going to be one way anyone would know anything about it. It's the natural 20. So, is a part of... I'm trying to think of how this would translate to the Feywild. So, you are aware that the Feywild is almost infinitely old.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was back to the time of tribes, there's very little known about where those tribes started, if they were part of bigger tribes, if they broke off. You can always find someone who will tell you an older and older and older story, almost to the point of obscurity of the Feywild. So, compared to the material realm is still just a baby compared to the Feywild. And you can recall an old story. an old story about an old person who was trying to find a place to sleep. So she went to her friend's house. One friend she went to visit, their house was always flooded. And when she tried to sleep there, she was always afraid she would drown. So she went to move to a friend's house that always kept it too hot. So when she would try to sleep there, she was afraid that she was frankly going to melt. And there was another friend who lived in trees. And she tried to sleep there, but she was always afraid she'd fall out of the tree. And when she had nowhere else to go, she almost gave up hope until she found the perfect place to sleep. It was some place where no one had been before, but it was not too hot, it was not too cold or wet, and it was not too high up, but it was instead this beautiful landscape. But she still couldn't sleep. So her friends, the friends who lived in the place that was too flooded, they brought her blankets that would keep her warm. And there was her friend who lived in the house that was too hot. They brought her nice warm meals to keep her warm on the inside. And there's a friend who lived in trees who wove together vines to help rock her to sleep. And at the end of the story, she was finally able to sleep. And she slept forever. And it's an obscure tale, and it was in one of your ventures to the back of the children's section in the library, you found this small book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was known as the story of Anit. It says, Anit needs sleep.
Anit needs sleep.
Anit needs sleep. That is what you recall.
And so Nikos might make the connection because while he's not very good personably, he has a bit of intelligence, so he might make the connection that each of these people represent the rulers of elemental planes, and that they came together and created the material plane, maybe. Or maybe they helped shape it with the help of someone else. And then it sounds to me like if there was an elemental conflict, that they would, these elemental people would be fighting against the people who created the material plane. That's the only thing that Nikos could possibly think of. He says he'll tell the story. They say it's an ancient legend passed down from centuries ago. So whether it's been gussied up as a kid's story when I was there, but I don't know if this is the case here in the material plane. But our stories we tell children, they're basically versions of legends we used to tell as adults.
Did you kind of recite a little bit of the story?
Yeah, I do kind of recite a little bit of the story.
Thundra says, yes, that is the story of Anit. And she kind of extends her arms and goes, Anit.
I'm gonna look around.
You know.
The world?
Yes, Anit.
Anit?
Anit.
That's what our world is called?
Yes, that's who your world is, Anit.
Our world is alive?
I need to write this down.
Unfortunately, not anymore.
Oh. Can you spell that for me?
A-N-I-T. You don't know about this? This isn't taught?
Especially not on sailing ships.
This is
Primo education.
I believe I have to go find Valor and Intraquis. The elemental conflicts, if you don't know, is the gods, when they first settled and brought all of you here, they were destroying Anit. And the kings of the elements drove them back where they were supposed to. And if you're all here, then they lost. And I wasn't there. And she stands up and takes a few steps back and she says, Adela,
Yes.
If you're the only one left, then this gift is for you. And she extends her hands for you to take hers.
Okay.
And when you do, you see her channel some of the energy into your hands, and you see them begin to freeze over with ice. And they begin to extend up your arms. And when you pull your hands back, you don't feel a lack of mobility, but you feel your whole body turn into a rigid ice. She says, this was something that Traquius taught the Adelas. It's a little extra armor to get you through. If they're alive, I have to find out if everyone else is. I can't believe this. And she kind of looks to Tribute and Talos, and you see her look has changed when she looks to you, because she knows you're holy individuals, that you're followers of a god. And she looks at you now, and there's almost an adversarial look. Mm. And she just takes a few steps back, and she pulls out her trident, and she looks to you guys and says, if you need me, I owe you all. Call out my name, and I will be there to help. And she steps back, and she holds up her trident. She calls out, Adela! And a lightning strikes down, and she disappears.
Oh, I was hoping she'd explain that.
Doesn't look like you're gonna have the chance to ask.
Adela, can you do that?
What?
Lift up your trident and say your name and disappear?
I don't think so.
Have you ever tried?
No, I'm not quite sure I want to because I'm not sure where I would go.
Alright.
So essentially what happens now is, in place of one of your wild shapes,
Okay.
you turn your whole body to ice, giving you a base armor of 16.
Okay.
But it lasts as long as your wild shape does.
Okay.
And it counts as one of them.
So I think it's like an hour per level or something?
It is half of your level, which would be an hour. So you'd have that for 1 hour.
So an hour and a half.
Right.
And I'm gonna just kind of get up and I'm gonna start looking around, and I'm gonna be like, this is incredible. I've literally walked into a jail from my childhood. This is weird. We tell tales about the material plane, but I never expected to actually be in the middle of... Well, I guess this would technically be the sequel.
You know what? They're gonna tell tales of you.
That's something I never expected to happen either.
No one ever does.
No.
Elwyn looks over at Talos and goes, vandalism. And just nods.
Hey, as
Smiles.
long as it's not ghost stories, that's all
Not
I care
hearing that?
about.
No, it was just kind of like you wouldn't know what the reference is.
Okay.
This kind of splitting the mood. The fire starts to die down. Bono is distinctly upset.
I guess I gotta keep my part of inspiration.
And you can settle down for the night.
Alright.
Yeah.
As you do, as everyone settles down, you are again offered the full night. You will be watched over, as this ruckus may bring some scavengers, but the Guardians can obviously handle much to anything that comes their way, except for you. In the night...
Actually, I was going to say, before we go to sleep, I'm going to think Nikos probably isn't having a good, hot, easy time sleeping. So he's going to instead try and do a trance.
Okay.
So he will rest for 4 hours and is in a trance-like state to try and get his mind together. And after he does that, he's going to shift back into the, I guess, the season of autumn.
Okay.
Because he's had a lot to deal with. He's no longer 100% angry because that emotion got kind of burnt out by the last part. So he's going to shift back into autumn. Sorry.
That's fine. No, that's perfectly fine. As everyone beds down,
Sorry, I'm fighting my baby. She's kicking my belly button.
Aww. As you're bedding down, Talos.
Yes.
We'll make it quick.
We're fighting. It's okay.
You find yourself back in that dream, on that lighthouse looking out onto that ocean with the waves crashing together, forming that sign of Umberlee, where that ghostly voice whispered when your goddess was covered in darkness, but would return and purge that darkness away. And that lighthouse, you stand at the top, there was a light behind you and a door that was locked.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself in front of that door again.
I'm going to try to open it.
Right open.
Alright, and then when I walk inside?
You see a staff, very similar to the one you have, almost a replica of. But at the very top, your holy symbol, it's glowing with what feels like a radiant daylight on your face.
Alright. If I wield the staff, I grab it.
When you reach to grab it, as soon as you feel your gloves around it, the light grows brighter and brighter till you're completely blind by it. And you wake up. Once a short rest, you can imbue the holy symbol at the top of your staff with daylight.
Nice.
This will shine for a 10-foot radius around you.
Okay.
But it is the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Nikos, you are able to get up pretty quickly before everyone else.
I mean, everyone else probably slept for a full 8 hours.
Yeah.
I was probably up part of the night, writing things down, maybe help people set up in the morning. I'm thinking, everything all right? Nikos is probably actually going to be up and about. He's going to be nice and chipper, back to his normal autumn self, and he's probably going to be, just sitting by where a fire would be, and gathering sticks for a morning fire for cooking breakfast.
All right, you'll find yourself up with Lano, and he's dragging in some logs. He's actually been kind of like squeezing the one you brought up, like he's been like swinging it around, like he's got to replace it anyways. And the morning comes. You're able to say your goodbyes. Elwyn comes to Talos and says, "You were looking to purchase one of the wagons, correct?
Yes.
We are going to require one of them."
Okay, that's fair. We just need one.
So he produces some paperwork, which pretty much says, "We kept a wagon, you have one wagon," and he just signs it, hands it to you.
Alright. I'm going to sign it.
He says, "Excellent.
Where's Hug Blood Knuckles?
Where's Hug Blood Knuckles?" And
My legal name.
you've rolled up your sleeping bags. You've mounted up your cart. There is still a fully loaded cannon on the back of your cart. And you're able to put this castle behind you.
What was left of it?
Breeze, Strength of Paw, gave you some directions. Telling you not to head back to the main road, but instead giving you directions to go a quicker way to kind of cut through. So you're gonna kind of need to lead everybody, but you'll get to where you need to be.
Do I have to write this down, or is it cool?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No.
You just make sure you're in front, that's all.
All right.
But as you do walk out, he does grab you by the shoulder and he says, "Listen, we have there's a Tabaxi there. His name is Red Claw Bloodstalker.
His name sounds like mine.
He is... he's our blood frenzy guy."
That sounds powerful.
It is. Most Tabaxi are well put together, are focused. Our fighting is very jump out of the trees and kill, and his is not. His is run in and just render flesh from bone. He's been that way since the 5-Day War. And I think, like me, he's looking to get it back. But he's not willing to give up his mortality. Just be careful around him. You're going to be considered an outsider there.
If I tell them that I've met you, will that hold any weight?
Hopefully. I would do it. I would tell them.
If I present them the shiny rock, will that suffice as proof?
No, it's just a rock.
Can I have something of proof so that they know I'm not lying?
I didn't bring anything with me.
Is there something that only you would say? Something? Just so they don't say I'm lying?
And he thinks about it. He says, give the rock to my son. If they call you into question, give the rock to my son. I like to claw into him a little bit in case I drop it, I know which one is mine. He would be able to recognize it.
Your son's strength of claw?
Yes. We don't have good naming conventions.
It seems that is part of just our culture, so I'm okay with it.
And with that, you take off. You cut through the leaves a little bit. It's a bit difficult, but you eventually find yourself onto a main path, a bit further north from where you had left in Bayside Wharf. There was a road that went straight. It directed you to Tabaxi Town, a little bit further, take you to Stormbringer Castle, and straight forward, a full day's walk, it would take you to the Jade Reef. You find yourself on that road, and you see, you're about halfway up the island now. You see that it's a little more populated. As you're coming out with this cannon, you see there's small caravans and just some small hunting groups passing back and forth. Coming out, frighten a couple of them, but it doesn't seem to be, they just like, oh, you just took a weird way here. And they mosey on about their business. Breeze, with the directions, you can get everyone to the Tabaxi Town.
I'll do that.
All right. You travel along further and further that day. Let me get this real quick. Write me down for natural 20.
Ooh.
And you do not find any problems on the roads. Where you were previously attacked in the night, where you had met a strange merchant. You find none of that. A fairly peaceful walk. The road tends to thin out a little bit more and give way to grassier, heavy roots kind of shaking up and down, back and forth. There is a donkey pulling this. Who's kind of helming the donkey? Who's going to be making sure it doesn't run off or go in the wrong direction?
I suppose I will.
Okay. This will count as steering the car.
Mm-hmm.
So give me an animal handling check.
Oh, yay. I'm actually pretty good at that.
Don't ever say that.
That's true. Oh, that is 21.
Okay.
Got that wisdom.
It gets bumpy, but you stay on track. You walk further and further, and about half the day goes by. You're leaving about 7 o'clock, and you're finding yourself around like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 1 o'clock in the afternoon comes by, and you finally hit another clean trail. You've been walking through bushes and branches all day. The heat of the day on a nice clear sky is bright. The humidity is up. There's very little wind this deep into the jungle. And the smell of humidity and fauna is just filling your nose. And you finally hit this nice smooth path. And you see there is a large black mass just squat in the middle of the road.
Perception check, I guess.
Okay. Breeze doing a perception. Anyone else?
I want to look around us.
I'll do it as
make
well,
sure.
even though I've got a -1 because I am trained because I'm an elf.
16.
Hey!
19 soft.
I got a 19.
17.
Man.
All right.
Perception.
I did not.
17. Breeze, 19. Tribute.
19.
19 for Nikos.
12.
12 to, as you...
Look around.
Talos, as you look around more, coming through this dense jungle you just walked out of, you don't see anything that looks suspicious or shadowy in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone else who would observe this large black mass, it looks to be breathing and moving. There's a nice sheen coming off of whatever it is. Whatever it appears to be alive.
I think it's a Tabaxi. I'm gonna walk up to it and say hello, in Mastican.
Okay. You hear it go, and it kind of turns around and it sees you, and it's kind of like on its back with its claws out, and it sees you.
I'm gonna put my hands up and present my belly so it knows I'm.
It points and it laughs at you. The Mastican, why are you so small?
Because my brother and sister are probably a lot bigger.
He picks himself up, and when he does, he's taller than strength of paw. And you notice that his muscles, he's huge. He's like the Goliath of Tabaxi that is just solid muscle. And he just kind of like stands above you, and he says, "You speak the native tongue."
I continue in Mastican. I'm like, yes, I do.
Why?
I wasn't sure if you spoke common or not.
Why do you speak my language? I've never seen you in the village.
I've never been to the village, but my parents are from Mastika.
He gives you a wandering look. You should go in and speak with the elder.
What Tabaxi is not from Mastika?
Well, the Tabaxi I know, they're all from Mastika. You're the first.
I'm a Tabaxi you know now, and I'll present my hand for a handshake.
He will not take it.
Denied.
If you wish for my respect, then you will join the tribe. I will take you in, but you will go in the custom of our people.
What is that?
Strip naked.
Is he naked?
Yes.
I will strip naked.
Okay. While you're doing that, he puts his armor back on.
I will stay naked and do it proudly.
He says, "Good. That is the first step." And he looks back to everyone else at the cart, and he says, "The fuck are you looking at?"
I'm going to say, "Hey, those are my companions. They're friends."
He says back to Mastican, "You have pets?"
Sometimes. They're well behaved.
Do they too wish to join the tribe?
I don't think so.
And he turns back to address everybody at the cart, and he says, "Follow."
What's their name?
He's going to turn and he's going to kind of push you ahead of him.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to say, "I am Aura of Winter."
Aura of Winter.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. I am Breeze.
Breeze.
Breeze over troubled seas.
I really like it.
I like that too.
I really like it. I like it. He says, "Well, Breeze, I hope this is a pleasure." And he just kind of leans back and he kicks you in the back. He says, "Start walking."
It's not very pleasurable right now.
And he keeps a good distance ahead of everybody, but he stays right up on your back. And as you walk a little bit further,
I'm going to look up to him and say, "What did you do? Did you eat another Tabaxi?"
and he says, "Did you fail to?"
No.
They don't taste very good. They're not very tender.
Says you.
You know what? You're lucky I like you, or I would take a bite right now. Or you're lucky I don't like you that much.
And as you continue forward,
I can't tell if he's flirting or
no,
not.
that's why we're continuing forward. As you continue forward, you hear the sound of light drum playing. It doesn't sound like any kind of war drums, but just kind of simple drums, just a song of the day. You hear the essence of life. You hear fires crackling. You hear a low murmur of conversation. You hear sticks being rubbed together. You even hear what sounds like metal being forged. And as you come to this perimeter, find yourself at the gate of the Tabaxi Town. At the front where you stand, you see that there is a fine, well-kept green grass that creates almost a carpet that goes up to a massive temple. It looks like ancient stone that has vines growing on and around it, weaving through loose, cracked parts. You see on these pillars that rise up as if it's made out of continuing blocks just build out, kind of like the stacking of a pyramid. with ledges on each side. You see carved into these, you see just large cat-like people. You see them playing and frolicking. You see them holding children. You see the art of a culture displayed on the side of this massive temple. And you see where this temple is, it sits on a large stone basin. And as the temple goes up, you see that what looks like stairs that lead to a zenith of the temple, to a plateau at the top, though you cannot see what is there. Around you, these small huts with fires and barrels of perhaps food, washing, just lost the word, clothes or supplies. You see that there is a good amount of tabaxi just walking around. There are kids playing in a nearby field. There are women standing over the cauldron stirring. You see there are men trying to erect more homes. You see a thriving community deep in these woods. And as you all walk in, Bree specifically, you see that you are the only one naked.
I will remain proud of my nakedness. And I'm going to stop. As soon as we walk in, I'm going to stop and close my eyes and just take a deep, deep breath. And try to just enjoy the scent.
Oh, okay, that's
Tabaxi
not
Town.
where I thought that was going.
What do you think
I close my eyes, take a deep, deep breath, and I get fully
That's exactly what I thought. And I was
They're
like,
kids.
Man,
Listen,
real
you could
proud.
be an exhibitionist. We don't know.
No, for the record, Breeze is pansexual, but apart from that, he's fine. Regular.
He is a bard. Let's see. Where did my pencil go?
Yeah, man, you're not allowed to make a bard without at least one kink. The fact that you are a furry does not count.
My kink is, I like anyone who's pink.
Got a pink
You're
king.
gonna get murdered in your sleep.
Does that count for like wearing or just the color?
Skin color.
Okay, just checking.
Skin color or hair or eyes.
Because Talos totally wears pink.
That's not a kink, that's a fetish.
It's a fetish. Kinks are fetishes, are they not?
As you take this,
And then, okay, go ahead.
as you take this deep breath, Aura of Winter just kind of stands next to you and goes very, very loudly for everyone to hear. Cover your shame. There are children here.
I have no shame. And I pull up my pants.
That's like putting my pants on. You see there's a very, very elderly Tabaxi. He has a staff and he has a great hunch on his back. But you see he's wearing almost ceremonial vestments. He comes kind of
That's the noise he makes.
very slow. He goes. He comes walking very, very slowly forward, and he says, "Aura, are you telling lies to the travelers again?" And he says, "No, grandfather.
Yes.
He came in this way."
No.
And everyone sees just this huge, sharp white teeth as he smiles. And this elderly man looks to you, Breeze, and he says, and this is all in the native language, says, "Forgive him. He likes to play jokes, which is why he's on perimeter duty."
All in good fun.
Aura just kind of turns around and walks away.
Just making good first impressions with everyone I see.
And he turns to the rest of the party and he says in common, "Welcome to our village. I'm sorry that our guide was less than appropriate or perhaps welcoming. But let me say, I'm happy to have you here. We've not had guests in a long time. Perhaps you should join me for some tea."
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
I am Namor Pain.
No more pain.
Namor Pain. I am the village elder and the healer.
It's nice to meet you.
It's fine to meet you.
Breeze.
Breeze what?
Breeze over troubled seas.
And he smiles. I like that name.
Thank you.
And
Yours is quite wonderful too.
Thank you. He turns to everyone else and just kind of nods for you to follow him.
Oh, cool. We don't have to play this.
Who are you, game?
I was having a internal struggle on whether I was going to use my work name or my human name. I was like, oh, crap.
I'd be better off using your orc name.
And he is going to proceed to walk very, very slowly.
Alright, I'm gonna walk, and I'm in front of everybody, right? Nobody can see me?
If you want to kind of come closer to him now, because right now it's kind of like you guys, Breeze, the Elder.
Because I just have, like... I'm not crying, but there are tears in my eyes.
You know, what do I have to roll to see the tears?
Perception.
15.
Yeah, you see tears.
You know when you're walking behind elderly people and you have to like really slow your pace to not run them over?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out my quarterstaff and kind of use it just to kind of steady myself so I'm not
Yeah.
running him over.
Kind of like you're catching up too quick and you just kind of put it as brakes.
Exactly.
Anyone else? Any hilarious thing you do behind an old person? Alright.
I'm treating this man with the utmost respect.
Nah, I'm gonna lean over just like him and do the same. No, I'm kidding.
Walk
If I
this
see
way.
you do that, I will
this way.
get like angry.
This way.
Yeah, come on, this way.
Oh, young Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. Werewolf, werewolf. You eventually arrive at a very large cabin. When he walks up the stairs and he lets you in, you see that there's some fairly lavish furniture for what is in the middle of the jungle, and you see that there are in fact tables. All of the tables sit maybe 7-8 inches off the ground, but surrounding it, almost completely engulfing the floor, look like woven pillows filled with something. As you walk in, he just looks over and kind of taps on Breeze's feet, who's not wearing shoes, but you may interpret that he's asking you to remove your boots.
I'll remove my little feet wraps, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that I'm really wearing shoes.
You look down at your feet and go, "Can I take these off?"
I don't think I'm quite wearing shoes.
All right. Everyone else?
I'm going to take my boots off.
Yeah, I'll take my boots off.
Okay.
I don't know how well that would smell because
Adela reaches down to take off
Don't
her
know how
shoes,
that-
and there's just the stubs that are on the back of on the bottom of Brad stalls.
Yeah.
Tyler takes off her shoes and Breeze goes,
I mean, as a sailor, I don't know how foot hygiene rolls into that.
I look
Considering
down,
you
I
lose them,
touch
I would
and
imagine
realize, oh, well, no.
pretty good. So as he walks to the small table, and as he does, he kind of lets the staff go onto the ground, and he just kind of forms down, laying down in kind of a very relaxed position. You see now his kind of crumpled, jagged stature is given way to a nice flow of his body, and he's laying down, but in still some way is he sitting straight up. He looks very calm, looks very respectable. And he says, "Please come sit. We'll have tea."
I'll do the same, and I'll
Is he like a cat
relax in front of him, directly across from him.
He is. It looks like that. Like you can't really tell with the robes. You just see the robes just kind of fall down, and there's kind of a hump in the robes, and you just see like a small end of a tail just move back and forth at the bottom. Breeze. Are you trying to mimic the way he sits?
No, I'm just sitting comfortably for me.
Okay.
But I'm still laying down comfortably.
As you all sit,
Just like this.
As you all sit, the pillows are fluffy, they're nice, they're not velvety, and they're soft for as much leather and burlap can be. But he sits with you, and he looks at you all in common and says, "What brings you to Tabaxi Village?"
Two things. I guess one thing for two reasons. We'd like to meet the sun god.
Mialo.
Miaulo. Yes.
Yes, the sun god.
Yes, we'd like to speak with him for two reasons. I would like to know the locations of my two older siblings who've been missing almost since birth.
Oh, that's tragic. Loss of a family is, in our culture, one of the worst things that can happen to any person.
Yes, so I've left my mother and father to try to make my family whole. And I've heard that the sun god may be the best way to do that.
Well, the sun god does see all. He's let the sun run its course, and in his 100 years, he looks down, he sees all. So he would know. But I'm afraid that only a member of the village is allowed to speak with Mialo.
What does being a member of the village mean?
You are either born a member, or you must pass a test.
If I pass this test, does that mean I have to stay in the village, or am I allowed to come and go as I please? Because
We are Tabaxi are said to be wanderers at heart, which is why we left our home. Anyone who is willing to leave, such as our emissary to Stormbringer Castle, they are free to go. They understand the price of leaving, and if they can accept that, then they are free to come and go as they please.
okay. So what is this test?
In the jungle,
The mighty jungle?
there is an orchard. In the orchard, there is the sundrop fruit. We traditionally retrieve this fruit in order to indulge and bring ourselves closer to Mialo. But now that he is here, it would be the perfect gift for him.
Where is the fruit? Point me in that direction, I will retrieve it.
To the south of here,
How far?
no more than a half-day's journey.
Is it a dangerous trip?
Every trip is fraught with danger on this island.
What I mean is it especially dangerous?
This is our sacred tradition to allow disgraced members or outside members into our clan. Yes, it is especially dangerous. But if you wish to seek Mialo's guidance, then you should be willing to overcome it.
I will do it. There's nothing more important to me right now than finding my brother and sister.
Well, you sound dedicated. But you're asking outsiders, and he kind of turns to all of you, a great price for this. Are you willing to take this, to risk your lives for him?
There's no pressure on you guys. If you guys don't want to do this, I'll go it alone.
Nikos is going to step forward and say, I failed. I tried to be there for you when you were in the fountain, and I failed to help you then. I'm not going to do it a second time.
It would be unfair to not risk my life when you've done the same for us. And also, if I could do anything to help you find a lost family member, it would mean the world to me.
Kaz leans forward and goes, Kaz, can we go?
Yeah, we can go.
We're gonna go. Everyone turns and looks at Tribute Nadella.
Of course I'll help.
What if Tribute was like, nah.
Nah, I'm good. I like cats when I hang out here.
I wouldn't want your death to be on my conscience should you meet an end from me not being there.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I was going to say with tears streaming down his face. because everybody just said they're going to help him find his family. He's just bawling. And I'm going to say, just one other thing we would like to ask Mialo. Talos here.
Save your questions for him. Asking them now would be wasting time. And if you are not a part of this village, you have very little of it.
Ouch. Okay.
We have...
Can we rest, at least, before we set out?
You are welcome to rest in the village. You will be viewed as outsiders, so I would mind yourselves. We do have a blacksmith. We have a merchant who has very little, and I can provide healing. Any kind of medicinal help. If you need anything for the road, I would be happy to trade with you in order to keep you on your way. We have salves that we apply to thick leaves that will help to heal wounds. And if you should be interested, I'd be happy to send you on your way with a few. But search the village and see if you wish to find anything in rest before your travels.
I'd like some salve.
Yeah, I was gonna inquire about that.
Namor Payne, he just kind of still lays there. Getting up isn't his thing. But he kind of waves you towards the door and he gives you the last warning. Remember, you're considered outsiders here. Be gentle. Mind yourselves. We are a peaceful people. And he waves you to the door. And put the rest of your clothes on, son.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Give your
Not
grandson
showing his kitty dips.
a little bit of a scolding for me.
Sure will. So you're let back out, and you see that the village is a bit more quiet now. A lot of eyes have fallen onto you. Before we go, if you want to get any of the healing items that are provided,
Yes. I do.
they work on a barter system. Gold isn't greatly valued here, more as objects are. You would know that most tabaxis have a thing, something that fascinates them,
Like rocks for...
like rocks or buttons. If you can kind of land on that, you might be able to swing a deal. So, what would you? Let me explain what the healing items are. Basically, the way they work is he will give you pre-soaked salves that will sit in a pouch that is pretty much layered dried leaves. And on the inside, it's like reaching your hand into a purse full of aloe.
That's a literal nightmare for me. I would fucking hate that. But Talos will be okay with it.
And you would pull out probably like a leaf that's probably about 6 inches by maybe about 4, and you're to apply it over a wound. That will seal and, in some smaller ways, disinfect a wound, giving you back 1d4 plus 2.
Oh, it's the world's first Band-Aid plus Neosporin.
It is literally a Band-Aid plus Neosporin.
Innovative.
They don't have a great access to magic, so they make do. What would you like to trade? You just have to be able to convince them your thing has value.
To them.
It is too bad nobody has invented cardboard boxes yet.
I am so sad that Addie's not here because he has so much crap.
I'm
And he
gonna
would totally sell
This
it.
would be his field day.
It would be.
offer him some jerky.
Okay.
This is what I got.
All right.
It's a
So
barter system. Dried meat.
let's put a number on how much jerky you have.
I have 4 pounds of jerky. I had 5 pounds originally. I've been giving it out like crazy. I'm gonna say I've given out about a pound by now. So that's 4
Okay.
pounds left.
Each pouch has 3. I would think a pound of jerky is worth 1 pouch of 3.
All right. I'll give you 2 pounds. 2 pouches.
2 pounds and a half.
2 1/4.
Roll a persuasion.
8, 9, 11. 6, 8, 11.
2 pounds and a half.
2 3/4. Oh, no. 2 1/3.
That is the most she'll do.
That's the most of it?
2 and a half for 2 cents.
He won't. I can't negotiate any further.
Nope. Failed the persuasion.
Then I will give him 2.5 pounds of jerky. That'll leave me 1.5 pounds left.
Okay.
Only Addie was here.
That is going to give you 3d4. Once they're used, they're gone. They can only be used. It's an action to use 1.
All right. And let me see. Call them healing pouches.
Yes. They're like a med kit.
Healing pouches. And he said it's 3d4.
It is 1d4 each. When you have 3.
1d4.
Wait, 6 technically.
Yes.
1d4.
I'm afraid those are all of the
3.
healing pouches I have.
Well, I'll share them with you guys.
Oh.
As needed, just
Oh, cool.
let
Then
me
I
know.
don't have to give any of my crap away.
Yeah, I had too much jerky. It was weighing me down.
I only had a
For this
sentimental
one.
item, and I was like, well,
I know, that's what I'm sitting here like.
And then after that,
Covered
He's
in
gonna
weapons.
he's gonna tell you how to get to where you need to go, so you can pretty much just leave right when you're ready.
all right. Do you guys want to rest, right? Or do you guys
What time
want
of
to go?
day is it?
It's about 1 o'clock. It's probably about 1:30 now.
we don't really need to.
Well,
But it's
you
also
said it's
gonna
a
take
half a
half
day's
day.
journey from here. Do you want to be in the jungle in the middle of the night?
Probably not.
Less
All
than
the-
half a day.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can rest. We'll leave first thing in the morning.
That's
And
fair.
once he tells us where to rest, I want to just walk around the village and take
Okay.
everything in.
Letting him know, he'll see that a hut will be made to accommodate you. It's not common to sleep outside, so one of the newer huts that are being erected will be your place for sleep.
It's not a beautiful night to sleep under the stars.
A lot of coverage overhead, so perhaps not tonight. So everyone will be able to get to do about one thing in the village. There's other shops that you can visit. There are people walking around. There are people building. There are children running around should you want to visit them. So let's go with Adela first.
I suppose I just kind of see what the kids are doing.
Okay. Anybody else want to go see what the kids are doing?
I'm gonna go with her.
Okay.
That's gonna be your one thing.
No, that's not my. That's
one thing.
That's the only thing I can do.
One thing.
It's
Yeah.
the only thing I can do.
Yep.
Yeah, he said we got one thing.
Persona
And I'll
time.
let her do her thing.
It's Persona 5 time.
I'm gonna go
I'll
with
let her
her
do that.
because I know Adela.
Also, you can only hang out with one of your friends at any
Ice
given
thing.
time.
All the kids die.
One friend, one time. All right, so
And your cat gets mad at you if you stay up too late.
Talos and Adela are going to visit the children. Tribute.
I'm just gonna go to the hut that has been designated to us. I don't
Boring.
feel like anyone in this town has anything for me, really.
Yeah, see, I feel the same way, but I don't want her killing kids.
I am going to window shop, I guess would be the term, even though I guess there's no real windows.
No windows. I'm gonna read my book.
Okay.
Oh
Do
god.
you remember where you left off last time?
I only made it like a little bit in.
Okay. Cass?
I was just gonna stay in the hut, but I don't know if I want to anymore.
Yeah, slightly. She'll read it to you.
She gets to the hut. She starts soft moaning.
Start reading it over her shoulder. What the hell are you reading?
I don't.
Can Cass read?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I don't know. Probably just stay in the hut. Cass is too afraid of offending anyone.
Aw.
Okay. Kaz will join you. Listel is also going to stay in the hut.
Oh god.
Nikos, you're going to be window shopping.
Yeah.
Got an
And
audience.
I'm gonna walk around the village, and I want to roll a perception check to see the most interesting person I can find.
okay. Let's start with going to talk to kids. Adela and Talos. As soon as you walk out of the hut, you look around and you see that the busy life of a village going on. Skins are being tanned, berries are being filtered out, some are being thrown back into the jungle, others are being collected in small carved wooden barrels. The smell of meat's beginning to roast over fires as you're preparing for the last meal of the day. You can find yourselves a little more in the direction where you came from, where that jungle starts to give way to nothing, but it goes to a thinner area where you'd walk through. You can kind of hear kids running around and playing in that area. You see there's about 6 kids. One seems to have his hands on his head like this and is putting his head down and chasing other children. What do you want to do?
I've never quite seen that game.
Well, I haven't either. I didn't really grow up around other children, so I'm not sure.
I'm
What
not
to
sure that I
expect.
ever really was a child.
Well, then you've beaten me there.
It's just to watch the kids, and if they notice us, ask them what
Just
game they're playing.
creeping on the kittens.
As you walk over, you hear them laughing and jumping. A lot of them are running and trying to leap and grab onto branches to pull themselves up to, and a lot of them succeed in doing that. But of the 6, there's about 2 that run, jump, deploy claws, and you just hear it and just wrap around, and they just go flying off to the edge. 2 of them do that, and you see that there is the one boy who has his claws on his head like this. He runs over and goes, "Arr!" And he just dives headfirst onto one of the kids, and you hear that boy then gets up and starts running, and the other young Tabaxi girl who was just like rolling over and picking herself up, she puts her claws on her head and starts running around like that after everyone else.
It's bull tag.
They seem to be pretty engrossed in their game. They don't see you, just kind of viewing.
It's kind of nice. I mean, I never really had a town life.
Yeah.
Never seen this before. It's interesting.
How depressing.
The 2 people who didn't really have childhoods.
Go watch the kids, yeah. See what a childhood looks like.
Here, I was worried about you killing the kids. Now you're just killing my feelings. I don't think we're actually going to interact with the kids, honestly. I feel like we just scare them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of watch
Just
and
sit
see
and-
what kids do.
Sit, observe, reflect.
Sit and people watch.
All right.
It's a nice moment.
Over to the window shopping.
All right. So, what kind of things are there to look at?
So-
Out of character, I'm assuming like a bunch of different knickknacks.
So as you go to walk around a little bit more, you see that there's a hut that has a lot of stretched furs around it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that around the others. There are some to others, but this one has an excess amount. These are being tanned. You also see that there are hides kind of hanging off the side. This gives the idea that this is a hunter's shack.
Oh.
Should you be looking for, honestly, anything kind of hunting related, furs, if you had some to trade, if you were looking to find any, you could probably find them there. You see further along that there is another hut. Outside of that, you see that there is what looks to be kind of a cobbled together stone forge. It's got a bit of smoldering in, and you see a little bit of the smoke coming out, and you hear a loud shh coming from somewhere behind. And from there, you see that there is another house. And there's just someone sitting on the porch. And they just sit there, and when you walk by, they just look at you. And that's it. Those are kind of the 3 shops you're able to find.
All right. So, Hunter's Lodge, blacksmith, and guy who just stares at you.
Yep.
All right. So, Nikos is going to just kind of wave at the guy who is staring at him and say, "Hello."
Hi.
Do you sell anything interesting?
Yes. But we're not open.
Oh.
Yes.
When do you open?
Soon.
How soon?
When I feel like it. Do you have something worth trading?
Does Nikos have anything worth trading?
He looks back to you and he says, "You'd know if you did, so we're closed."
Okay. And so Nikos is just going to shrug, and then I guess he's going to...
As you turn to walk, he goes, Wait.
Yeah? I turn around?
No, never mind. So there is the Hunter's Lodge and the Blacksmith if you do wish to see them.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious about... Oh, wait. I have the potion that may or may not be of fire. That might or may not be irresponsible of Nikos, but let's see if he notices. Nope. He's going to turn around and he said, "Wait a minute. I just remembered I have this." And he's going to take out a little flask that has a strange liquid in it. And he's going to say, "I think it's a potion of fire."
The Tabaxi stands up, turns around, and walks inside. And then you hear the voice. "Now we're open."
All right. So I'm going to follow him inside.
When you walk inside, you see this eclectic mash. Just things have been brought in and seemingly dropped there. Some things have been given enough care to stack on a shelf. Others are just laying on the ground. As he walks in, he kind of kicks some stuff aside, and he stands behind a small wooden pedestal, which he picks up a small wooden box, and then he puts another wooden box next to it. And he says, "Step forward."
All right. I step forward.
He says, "Show me the flask."
I show him the flask.
He puts it in the box. And when you see in the box, it looks like the box was carved out of a tree stump. And you think this because there's rings in the box of different sizes. And when he lays it down, it fits into one of the rings. And he says, "I'll trade you something this size."
Okay. So I get the idea. So I'm going to look around for something that size, and I'm going to turn on my Eldritch Sight.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll find anything magical.
Sure. As you turn and you look around, you see that there is not a lot magical. Nothing's really popping out. The three things that do pop out is you see that there is a teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
It is radiant with necrotic energy.
Oh.
You see that there is a glass jar, and that is evocation in the jar.
Mm-hmm.
And there is what looks like a wand, and it's got a big, there's a large round. There's a large round top of it. It's made out of a solid wood and it makes a perfect circle. And as you look at it, it looks like there's kind of, you know how like you look through a soap bubble and it looks like there's like that stripe of rainbow in it.
Mm-hmm.
You see that, and that has magic on it.
All right. So, I am going to. Can I attempt to identify what the enchantment magic might be on the wand?
Are you trying to do through an Arcana check or through the spell?
Arcana check.
Okay. Which one do you want to look at? No, just roll me one and we'll discuss all three.
All right. Ooh. 10.
Just the way these items are enchanted, they seem to be random objects enchanted with these spells, so you can't really tell or discern much from it. Mm-hmm. What you can see is that the teddy bear would fit in the circle, the jar would fit in the circle, but the wand is the biggest part of the circle.
The biggest part of the circle.
Yeah, so you'd need more to trade.
All right. I'm going to grab the jar.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick it in the circle.
All right. He has you put it in the other box that has the same circles. He puts it in and he says, "Acceptable."
All right.
And he takes your maybe fire and he gives you the jar.
The jar of maybe anything.
The jar of something.
All right.
Maybe also fire.
Maybe also fire.
He tells you, he says, "That is enchanted fat.
Enchanted fat.
If you cook with it, it increases the meal to a point that you're better for eating it. So when you cook with a meal, it'll give you a D10 temporary hit points."
Really? That is nice.
Has 3 uses.
3 uses.
3 uses.
Enough for 3 portions.
Yep.
3 meals. All right. That's really. I'm going to say. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to say that.
It is. We're closed. Go, go, go.
All right. All right. I leave, and I'm just going to look at it, and then I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to look at look up, and I'm going to think to myself, like, Wait a minute. I'm a vegetarian.
No. All right. Most interesting person in the village. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
It's me.
It's just like the special cake was for you.
You find a mirror. It was you all along.
It was friendship.
15. Or no, excuse me. 17.
17.
Yes.
I'm gonna level with you. It's Nikos.
Most interesting Tabaxi in town.
It's interesting. It's Nikos, man. The most interesting person in town is Nikos. The most interesting Tabaxi in town is you, because these are people who live together for almost centuries. You are the most interesting Tabaxi here because you're not from here, and you showed up naked. So there's quite a bit of gossip generating around you.
Okay.
That and Mialo, to go without saying.
Well, I can't
Obviously,
go.
the sun god is probably a bit more interesting than all of you coming here, but
I
you
can't just go up and talk to him.
right. You guys are kind of the new hit of the town,
Okay. So,
so that's going to mostly wrap up the day.
yeah. Sad face. Actually wanted to talk to someone, but...
The day wraps up as everyone is out. Tribute is sitting reading her book.
Completely straight serious.
Listel is just going to make a cursory comment of, you know, you're not supposed to take those quite that seriously. They're smutty stories, sure, but
There's a lot of big words.
I would, if you should need them explained, I would be happy to help. I have read the book and wrote a 3-page report on it.
No, I got the summary. It's the details that are interesting to me.
Okay. I'm a librarian at heart, and there's a book for everyone. I'm glad you found yours.
Indeed.
Tribute goes, but I don't understand. What actually happens? I need you to explain this to me. My dad
That's
never
literally
did.
what I'm picturing.
Cass is sitting there going, Tribute's reading porn. Not just Cass.
What?
It's reading porn.
No, she's not.
It is porn.
It is?
Yeah. It's Listel. Is that porn? It's erotic literature.
You can read it with a straight face?
Tribute's just has the book in front of her face at this point.
No, I admire that.
I assume what
Cat-
tieflings are red, right?
I'm already pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can blush
Just a
something,
darker
though.
red, just like
Yeah.
Kaz. When you say that, Kaz goes, ha! And just like looks to you with this realization, like,
Well, if I was reading that book, I wouldn't have that straight of face.
okay.
I'd be red.
No, I'm sure.
I'd probably throw it across the room.
I appreciate that.
Kaz, who has never considered his sister having an interest in porn before.
Yeah. With that, the day wraps up. This small shack you're in is honestly about enough that you could all sleep in it with very little room in between.
Would this be the first time we've all slept in the same room?
You would have all slept close together. You slept once around a fire. You probably got a little more distance when you're sleeping outside of Stormbringer Castle. But now this is the first time that you are sleeping like next to each other in some capacity. Yeah.
Does anyone snore?
Adela wets the bed.
I snore.
Oh, God.
Oh God, I just got that.
I have
Oh.
a weird request.
Yeah.
I actually want to sleep next to Adela so I can hear the ocean.
Positive inspiration.
Hey!
That never happens.
I'm just giving you that because I'm going
All
to
right.
shit all over Addie when the session comes next week.
Oh, that's fine.
Next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go in. Are there pillows set up like in the place? Other place?
Actually, when that time comes, a couple of villagers come in, very wide-eyed, very uncertain of what they're doing. Very few of them actually speak common. So when they come in, they just have armful of these like burlap pillows, and they just kind of like kind of like you're not there. Like this is before everyone comes in, and like a couple of them just kind of standing with these armful of pillows and just looks at like Tribute, Kaz, Listel, and Cass. Just stands there like
That was for us?
just big, white, sharp smile.
I'm gonna try to gingerly take it.
He gingerly releases them. The next person comes in, and this kind of happens back and forth until the room is wall-to-wall pillows. You're essentially just laying on pillows.
This is what I'm here for.
I'm actually pretty sure that's better than how he slept on the ship, so...
This is better. This is, honestly, you're more accustomed to sleeping on hay on wooden frames. These aren't just filled with hay. You don't know what they're filled with.
Feathers.
But it's very soft.
They glue themselves and put it in burlap
I
sacks.
actually say feathers.
Listen, I'm going to give you negative inspiration for figuring it out. It is when they groom off the cat hair, they fill their pillows with it because it is the
Listen,
softest.
the minute you said they had pillows, I'm like, it's fucking
Yeah, it's
I mean,
just,
hey, we're
Hopefully
very,
no one has allergies.
they're very utilitarian. They think of these things.
yeah, and if not, there'd just be cat hair everywhere. So
This
yeah,
is a good point.
These are not hypoallergenic.
You look at the shacks and they're like glued together with hairballs.
yeah.
Oh.
The guys building they're like up, and then they just press the wood together.
God.
Hold up.
Yeah, right. Man, it's hot.
It's a good image, though. I like that.
What do you think about that image, Emily? Being a furry and all.
Not a furry.
The legacy lives
Comes
on.
back. Kill me.
Hashtag wolf dick.
No.
So night comes and goes. They wake up fairly early, still when the sun is just coming out, and you are awoken by then too. And if you're ready to head off for your journey,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I'm excited.
Yes.
do you take the cart? The cart, you're not going through a path, you're going through raw jungle. Taking the cart runs the risk of the cart and time, but the payoff is you have a fucking cannon attached to it.
But are we gonna use the cannon?
No.
We're kind of saving that.
Like,
They're
the
saving
risk
the
is
cannon.
definitely not worth the reward in
Yeah.
a jungle.
So it is. You begin your trek through. As you're walking out, the sun begins to crest. The nice cool air, the swampy waters nearby is beginning to fill your nostrils, and it's starting to warm up. There's a couple times where you could see your breath, but that in the morning fog is beginning to burn off ahead of you, and you begin a long walk. Breeze, you're the one helming this. There's an intuition you have about this. There's something that's familiar but still new. Go ahead and give me a survival with advantage.
It's gonna be the first one was 3, so it's gonna be 15.
Okay. You're able to keep everyone on track. You're starting to get into swampier territories. It seems the further you go, the rougher the terrain gets. Adela, you're starting to see that your legs, is there kind of that nice aqua blue? They're starting to catch and pull in this kind of swampy green. Those are starting to fill up to your knees, and it's not generally pleasant. As you walk around, you see that there are still things breaching the surface of the water and then diving back under. The time you walk is maybe about 4 or 5 hours, until there's a natural sense you have that ahead of you, in some distance, in some direction, you're going to find an orchard. But all you see now is swamp and the thin trees that grow out of it. Do you want to tell anyone? Do you guys want to do any investigation before you head forward?
I'll investigate.
So we've been walking 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we've been walking for quite a while. I don't know why, but I have this feeling that we're close to our destination. It's really weird. I've never felt this before, but I think we're close.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out my sword.
You guys ready to push forward?
I'm gonna turn on my Eldritch Sight. Let me just double check the range on that.
I'll tell you.
30 feet.
The mist that kind of hangs over the swamp, it's very light. It's carrying the essence of conjuration.
Ooh. Alright, so I'm just going to look around and I'm just going to say, we need to be careful. There is conjuration magic literally all around us.
I'm gonna kind of...
What's that do?
It makes things appear out of nowhere.
That's bad. Okay.
Can I investigate the ground around us, see if there's been any signs of something else coming through?
Give it a roll.
Okay. Nine.
You're in swampier marsh territory. It doesn't look like if anything had come through, you'd be able to tell.
I'm gonna poke at the mist with my sword.
Roll me an attack.
Blech. 17.
You missed.
Oh, I missed the... I hate you.
I'm gonna play a song in Mastican.
Roll performance. Kaz is going to back you up and give you advantage.
Kaz doesn't even know what he's about to play, but he sees Breeze whip out his lute and he's like, hey.
He's just watching his... Ow. He's just watching his hands and he's just following the best he can.
19.
So, to the strum of two soft melodies, a wild but soft song comes out. It doesn't seem to have, especially to attribute any kind of discernible chord structure, such as the music of an ancient and uncivilized people. But as this music plays, Nikos, you see this more. You see that essence of the conjuration magic. You see it begin to swirl and become whole. Everyone else, you see this mist that was light, it becomes solid in front of you. Tribute, you pull your sword back and take a few steps back as what looks like a solid wall of mist is being created. And as you continue to play more and more, that mist becomes almost, you cannot see through it. It's perfectly solid, and it begins to split open from the center. And when it does, you see there is an orchard in a green, grassy field. Not a drop of swamp in sight.
If we stop playing, will it close?
Do you stop playing?
Play slower.
Doesn't seem to close.
I'll stop.
So will Kaz.
Is it stay open?
The portal remains.
I think this is our destination, guys. I'm gonna. Do you guys have how many people have rope?
Everybody.
Okay, I think a couple of us should stay with the rope just in case that portal closes.
How would that help, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a portal. It doesn't really apply to ropes.
All right. Well,
Grab your boys.
through it we
Well,
go.
we gotta wake up.
So as you look out, you see that there are these 8 trees, and it looks like they're containing this blue water. And at the center of this blue water, there's a larger tree on an island. These smaller trees are thin, but seem to be sturdy, and they're swaying in the breeze. The grass around seems to go on almost infinitely. You look over to the sides, and behind it, there seems to be nothing that goes beyond. But the portal, everyone's on the outside right now. You have not gone through yet. But that's what you can see on the inside.
This is what has to be done. I'm going. And I'm going to start walking towards the portal.
I'll follow him in.
I'll follow as well.
Breeze, Nico, Sedella. So as the three of you walk through the portal, you find yourself about 15 feet away from the first tree. And about 20 feet away from the line of the water. Nikos, roll me a madness.
Madness?
Madness.
Okay, so that's wisdom plus
Plus constitution.
Alright. So +1.
Get out of here.
Natural 20.
Okay.
That's because I was looking and you weren't. Get the hell out of here.
As you walk in, you feel this. You feel a familiar churning of your stomach. A chill runs up your spine, but you're able to shake it off.
True. When you said that, a chill ran up my spine. That was freaking weird.
That's the voice.
Give it to me.
What does the sky look like in here?
Very familiar. It looks to be an either twilight or dawn. Seems you have accidentally returned to the Fae.
Oh, wow. Nikos is gonna look around and say, "Oh, I got back here sooner than I thought I would."
Back? What do you mean, back?
We're in the Feywild.
Really?
Yeah. Look at the sky. It wasn't like that when we left. This is my home, or at least a part of it. It's a very big place, so could actually be miles away from the people who didn't want me to be here, which would be very, very good.
Well,
it's right in their backyard, and they go, "Hey, get the fuck out of here!
Get off my lawn!"
let's do our business and return to Meowlo.
Yeah.
Alright, so if you're not in, move your characters back.
Not in.
If you're not in.
Well, I'm just giving people the right to move their characters back.
Fuck it with
Do the smaller trees? Can I see if they bear fruit or not?
You want to walk up to one?
Yes.
Go ahead and move yourself to the one. Roll an investigation.
That's going to be 15.
As you go up to the tree, you see that it bears no fruit. Though as you look closer, you see what looks like dried red liquid attached to some of the branches.
Is the tree climbable?
It's probably about maybe 7 or 8 feet. It's fairly lean. You could probably climb it, but it wouldn't be a comfortable climb, and you probably couldn't hold there for very long.
So I just want to smell the red liquid to see if it's sap or blood.
You could probably get your nose up to it.
Alright, I'd like to do that.
Investigation again.
11.
It smells like sap.
Okay. Does it smell sweet?
No.
Can I scrape some off with my knife before I climb down, or with my claw?
Yeah, you can kind of claw some off and keep it.
I'll claw some off, I'll climb down, and I'll lick it once, see what it tastes like,
Blood.
No.
and then I'll throw it on the ground.
Okay.
So, that red stuff up there is blood, so we should be on our guard. I don't know whose blood it is, but...
Would I know anything about trees that their sap is blood?
Roll a history check. Adele, is there anything you want to do?
See how clear the water is?
Okay.
Ooh, that's not great. 10.
That doesn't sound right.
Alright. Well, it doesn't sound good.
Adela, as you walk up, go ahead and move Adela up to the water.
My hands are occupied.
Yeah.
As you look down into the water, it looks perfectly still and reflective.
Okay. Can I use my shape water to kind of move some of it around?
No.
Dun, dun, dun,
Well, the water's magical of some sort. I'm not able to move it with my...
Well, I mean, we are kind of out of the normal sphere where you've been used to using your powers. That might affect it.
I'm gonna walk up to the water also.
Okay.
Is there any discernible way to cross?
There seems to be no bridges or raised pieces of land. It seems you just have to either walk if it's shallow or swim if it's deep.
Let me see, do I have anything?
I'm gonna...
Does anyone have a staff?
I do.
Can you dip your staff in the water and see how deep it is?
Yeah, I'll start dipping my staff in the water.
Okay, move yourself up to the water edge.
Yep.
You dip your staff in the water, and you can tell it's only probably, for like an average height, for pretty much any one of the parts, probably going to be like calf height.
Calf height.
Right. Though it does not have the exact consistency of water.
It doesn't. Is there anything that's more consistent?
It has kind of like a gelatin. It's still liquid. As you push it, it still ripples, then fills, but it does so almost if it were in slow motion.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just take my staff out. I assume it slowly drifts off my staff.
Almost exactly.
And I take it out, and I was going to say it's... Well, I guess maybe it's not exactly water, but it's not that deep.
Does it seem
How tall are
dangerous?
the trees?
7 to 8 feet.
Okay. How far away is the big tree in the middle?
Is that about 20 feet?
I don't think it's dangerous. I didn't do anything to my staff.
I'll tie a rope around my waist and hand it to Della and Nikos.
Alright.
And say, this is my journey. I won't ask you guys to take this risk. Just, if something happens, pull me out.
Alright.
I'm gonna try to make it to this tree. The water's 50 feet. My rope is the water's 20 feet. My rope is 50 feet. The tree is how tall?
The tree in the center, you could probably gauge from here. You're probably looking about 15 feet.
All right.
The tree in the center looks to be about 15.
I'm gonna ask them to tie one of their ropes to the rope, so it's 100 feet of rope, just in case.
Okay.
All right, and then I will very delicately dip one foot into the slow-mo water.
Dipping your foot in Jello.
Slowly.
It's weird. It's uncomfortable, but you don't regret doing it.
Oh God, what is that gonna do to your fur?
Yeah.
I feel like you just took
we
a glimpse into my nightmares.
I mean, we did just walk through a swamp.
I mean, I can't imagine it's any different than walking at cornstarch.
Oh, yeah.
No ill effects.
What kind of water
Oh,
Just
experiment?
weird.
It's just
Yeah.
weird.
Then
I've seen that episode of Myth.
I'll walk across.
So as you're beginning to trudge across, as you step in further and further, it seems to get a bit deeper. And as you're walking more, it's kind of coming up to your knee, and it feels more like it's starting to close in more tightly around your legs.
I'm gonna pull up my lute and play the same Mexican song and see if that does anything.
As you unzip your bag to come from the lute, the ground starts to shake. And I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from Nikos and Adela. You do not make the dexterity saving throw.
Wait, I'm not proficient in dex saves. Uh-oh.
Rip.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not. Soft play.
18 rounds. Alright.
So as you have the rope in your hands, as Nikos and Adela are standing just outside, the ground begins to shake. And as it does, all 8 of the trees quickly raise, bringing up what looks like a net of dirt and vines tied together, and it quickly just goes like that and closes like a large closed flower, entrapping Breeze inside. Roll for initiative.
Oh boy.
Snap.
I knew he was only there for the cake.
Yeah.
Do I roll? Or am I-
Oh yeah, everyone's rolling for
Sarah,
initiative.
add me to the club.
Nice!
7.
You're already on the nat 20 list.
I'm just saying, I haven't rolled one today. And I
Put
don't
me
get
on-
very many.
Breeze.
Put me on for my
Oh,
third.
I've actually had quite a few.
3?
Not as
3
many as
today.
3 natural 20s. Alex has got another.
Boy.
I got one too.
Alright, starting off on the outside is going to be Nikos.
Alright.
This thing is clamped together and made essentially a flower bud. You have the general idea of what this looks like. The trees are at the top, and there is this thick netting of just terra firma around it.
Alright.
It's the total height of this thing is probably about 30 feet.
Alright.
It's still got the same distance around it, kind of the bottom of it. It's very rounded. It looks like it could be a tall climb and a long walk all the way around. But you're standing in front of it. What would you like to do?
I am going to try and make an Eldritch Blast to try and blast a hole through it.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack.
This should be fun.
Ooh. Well, that's not that bad because of the proficiency die. But the total is going to be 11.
As you're holding onto the rope and you extend your hand, your eyes glow with your magic, and a great force explodes forward. And as it hits this netting, it just kind of folds in and releases it, completely unharmed.
All right.
That is going to go down to Talos.
Yeah.
You are going to be probably, say, 35 feet away
Okay.
to the outside of this large plant.
Alright. Have any enemies appeared, or is it just the tree net?
No, this is all that seems to be out here.
Okay. I'm going to... Are we outside the portal, or are we kind of...
You are outside the portal.
Okay. I'm going to enter. I'm going to kind of stand here, and I'm going to reserve a action for... Or, well, it's actually a bonus action for...
Do you want to be in or out of the portal?
I'm inside the portal, yeah.
All right. Portal line.
Um,
Put you just inside.
Okay. That's where I want to be. That's good. I'm going to reserve my bonus action for if an enemy appears.
You will.
Okay.
You will what?
I will reserve my spiritual weapon for if enemy appears.
Just so you know, if you reserve a spell and nothing happens, the spell disperses and you lose it.
Okay.
But it doesn't go off.
Okay.
So you can do that, and if an enemy shows up, it'll work. But if it doesn't, comes back to your turn, you lose a spell slot.
Okay. Well, the duration's a minute. Would that?
It doesn't cast. You just lose it. You're focusing on it, and
Okay.
when nothing happens, you just kind of lose it.
Never mind. I guess I'll reserve an attack action for if enemies appear.
What's the attack?
With my quarterstaff.
Okay.
I could bonus action it next turn. Oh
For
wait,
sure,
actually, let me see. I think I thought of something. How far away am I from Breeze?
Breeze is completely engulfed. You can't see him.
Oh. I can still cast on him, though. This one doesn't say against sight. It just says a creature within range.
What's the spell?
Sanctuary? Protecting him against attack in there.
What are the components?
Abjuration.
That's the type. Is it VSM?
Yes.
Is there a V?
Yes.
I feel like they're gonna need to hear it. I know that's not part of it, but I feel like if I know he's somewhere, I cast it on him. I feel like you have to know where he's at. You've got to at least have a line to that person.
But he saw him get captured in there. He knows he's in there.
But you don't know where in there. If that was the case, it's just kind of an AoE spreading out. I feel like there has to be more than he's here, I cast it.
I don't know. It's because other spells specify a creature that you can see, and this one doesn't. It makes me think it's not a component.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Just
So
because
cast
it's really
Sanctuary.
common spell language.
Okay.
Any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or a harmful spell must first make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell.
Okay. Anything else?
No. That was my bonus action, but I guess, can I still reserve, an attack action?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Lestel.
Man, I had all
That's
this
not
time to think about what he was gonna do. So, is the net, attached to the trees still? Or did it, come out of the trees?
The trees actually raised up, the tips of my fingers are the trees. They raised up like that, as if the trees weren't really trees.
So,
Like they were fingers.
Venus flytrap style.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not really a net, it's really a tangle of trees.
It's not a tangle of trees. Further investigation would show that the trees are made to look like trees. They're not trees. Whatever this creature is, this is its mouth. And it has the membrane of the mouth itself is tangled living roots. So yes, there is living fauna to it, but it's not specifically trees. It
Okay.
just has kind of trees at the top of it.
Tree teeth.
Yes, tree teeth.
That makes chewing
Aw,
weird.
dude, that means you stepped in spit.
Oh, better than it being
Great.
stomach acid.
That is a good point.
I hope the fruit isn't like you.
So Nikos, you
Can't
already
finish
tried
the
to
word.
cast at this thing and it bounced off, right?
It bounced off, but that was straight up magical force. It's possible something else could do it, but that's just me spitballing and almost out of character.
By the way, for Listel, important.
Alright.
Alright.
15, 13. I will remember those.
And I'm just gonna say it's worth it to try burning it.
I was literally just gonna say, cause Listel doesn't know anything that we just learned. He sees there are trees, and the trees enclosed breeze. Trees burn. So he would move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That would put us at a 15-foot cone.
Burning hands.
Yeah. So we're gonna do Burning Hands. Since he moved between Nikos and Adela, they're not in the cone.
Okay.
It should just scorch the trees.
Not going to believe this, but a tree does not have great dexterity.
Haha!
Thus proved. It fails.
Nice. 2, 6, 7 fire damage.
7 fire damage.
I don't know how you read those dice.
Practice.
I was struggling.
Listel runs forward with the book in his hand. He extends, and a great cone of flame wreaths around a good portion of the outside of this. The earth and the branches begin to burn away, and you see it beginning to thin out. The centered mouth begins to kind of wince and almost pry open. Anything else?
No, but I'm gonna blow my nose real quick.
Give it a go.
I was waiting for you to be done talking so I could finish choking.
Adela.
Okay. So I have an idea, but I don't quite know how good of an idea it is. So I'm still holding onto the rope. Is Nico still holding onto the rope too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the rope goes all the way up and in.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Nikos to trust me and just let go of the rope. I've got it.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Now there is some kind of landing around the tree in the middle, right? Or is it just kind of almost an island around the
There's
tree?
like an island in the middle, yes.
Okay. Alright. So I'm going to make sure I'm holding the rope
Okay.
and do Misty Step over there.
You're going to Misty Step inside?
To the other tree.
I think Misty Step, you do have to see where you're going.
I see where I'm going. I see the other tree. I
Oh,
see where the other tree is.
They
yeah.
did open up, okay.
Yeah.
No, the mouth is still closed.
Oh, you don't see the
it's-
other tree?
No, you can't see inside. Like, you're facing a wall right now. It's
Okay,
starting...
well, I wasn't here
Yeah.
for that part, so I didn't know there was a wall there.
Yes, there's a large wall. It's starting... It looks like it's starting to pry open, like it's starting to lose its grip. So, no, you cannot see. You're just looking at a wall right now.
Also, taking the rope would defeat the purpose of pulling him out. Right? But that was the plan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I can't Misty Step into there?
Do you have the spell in front of you?
I do.
Read it.
Briefly surrounded by silvery mist, you teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see.
Can't see.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
You would
How
need
high
at
is
least
it?
a dimension door to get inside.
Yeah.
How high is it?
The very top of it is probably about 30 feet.
You could Misty Step to the top and
Yeah,
try to
I
climb
go to
in.
the top of it?
Sure, you can just teleport right to the top of it. As you're at the top, you see that it's actually not slippery, as you're just kind of standing on a grown together earth and vines. At the very top, you can kind of see how it's opening in the middle like this. It's very narrow and very steep. There's a good chance you could fall from this height. But you Misty Step is what, a bonus action?
Yep.
All right, you have your action.
Okay.
I just want to know when Adela falls, does it squelch like water?
I'd like to think
No, it
she
splashes.
would splat, but it would be the body blind.
Okay. So, Now that I'm on top of this wall, I see the tree, right?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. It's 10.
Not from where you're at. The angle that it's opening up, you can only kind of see the inner wall of it.
Okay. And you said there's vines in front of me?
They're on the ground around you.
Okay. Can I just kind of grab onto the vine with the hand that's not holding?
Sure.
Alright.
So you've grabbed onto this large plant and you've grabbed onto the rope, both.
Yes.
Okay.
So that way, if it does open and I start to slide, I've grabbed onto something.
Cass.
Okay. So, are these trees still here?
Nope, they're straight up in the air, coupled together.
Are they still that distance apart?
No, as they're like this, kind of an open palm, they've moved together to create a seal at the top.
Okay.
So they're like all like here now?
Yes, they'd all be kind of in the center over the island.
Okay. Let's move here. Guess I'll just try to hit it with my crossbow, see if that does anything.
Alright, go ahead and roll an attack.
I'm gonna shoot it. That ought to piss it off.
Look, all I can do is hit things.
And you do it well.
Lightning javelin.
Not well enough.
You were watching.
I was. That is 5.
Did you add your strength and your proficiency?
That's the dex.
Oh, dex?
Yeah.
Woof. Yeah, you fire your crossbow and it just breaks against the wall. Anything else?
No, I'm not gonna do anything else at the moment. I have nothing.
Tribute.
Okay.
You are covered in weapons.
I should have cast a thing on Breeze before he went in here. But it's too late for that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 into the portal. And since I can't reach these trees with my sword, I'm gonna use Ray of Frost.
Basically standing on top of that.
Because trees don't like ice either. So we're gonna try one of those boys. Uh, 18 to hit.
Miss.
Really?
You extend your hand and the ice of your heritage extends against, and that's it.
Man. That's some nonsense. Maybe it's just immune to cantrips.
It has specific cantrip immunity.
I don't know, man. It could happen.
It opens, and it returns to its state.
Okay, so where does it leave me?
You are holding on.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you can either make a strength or dexterity saving throw as its sudden opening, putting you from an upright position to flat on your back, whether you are going to be slammed 30 feet down.
Oh, okay.
It's damage, it's whether you have it or not.
Oh. 5.
Not ideal.
13 points of damage as you are slammed onto your back at the base of this.
You took my pencil.
Can we see Breeze now?
Yes, you can see him.
Good.
And that is going to go to Kaz.
Gonna come in so he's not the only one outside.
Peer pressure.
I'm afraid.
And it's gonna give a bardic inspiration to Breeze.
Bard buddies.
Anything else?
No. Not at the moment.
All right. Breeze. You take 4 points of acid damage as the goop that is beginning to surround your knees is starting to dissolve the fur off of your legs.
Ew. Ouch. When I did that, could I have gotten That pushed me into the middle, to the tree.
Nope, you're exactly where you were. It's in a bit of a slope. Okay. But it's still traversable land.
Just so you know, it is midnight.
Okay.
Alright, I will use my... the middle part where the tree is that dry land? Is that still active?
Yes, it appears to be solid land.
Then I will use my cat feline agility and I will sprint to it.
Give me a strength check.
Strength check.
Yep, this is going to be your ability to get out and move.
Remember, you have Bardic Inspiration.
And Bardic Inspiration is what, 1d6?
Yeah.
Yep.
12.
All right, you are able to pull your feet up and move across. It is going to take, it is rough terrain, so that's only going to be about 10 feet. And you come to the tree.
And I climb.
As you come to the tree, you see the branches move down in a means of defense.
Do they have fruit?
They do. But the fruit is at the top. The branches that come down do not.
I'm going to cast Thunder Wave.
Okay. That is what, a dexterity or constitution?
It is...
Constitution, last I checked.
Constitution.
19.
Sorry, I have a really good idea.
Oh. I thought you were about to use a portal.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think Thunder Wave works.
Yeah. It does, I believe, still take half damage.
So it's 2d8.
God, you're miserable.
Sorry.
So take 4 damage.
Alright, that is going to go back up to Nikos.
Alright, I am going to... So this is obviously a whole organism.
Correct.
I am going to just look straight at that tree, which is 30 feet away, right?
Yes.
Alright, so it's within the range of my hex. And I am going to hex it for... Should I do Constitution or Strength? I'll do Constitution. No, because it doesn't affect saving throws. I'll do Strength.
Okay.
I'll hex it for Strength checks so that it has a harder time grabbing people. And then I am going to just, for the sake of it, because I have it hexed, I'm going to try and Eldritch Blast one of the fruit off.
Give it a roll.
Gunslinger.
That's a called shot, so it's got to have a high check.
All right.
I feel like the fruit wouldn't make it.
Just explode.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa. That was... Okay, so... 21.
Holy shit. Nikos, his eyes glow with the magic of the Fae, and a black mist begins to surround this tree. And he takes one finger and he points it forward, and just a little bit of Eldritch Blast right out of his nail, and cuts a single fruit down from the tree.
Can I catch it as it falls?
It fell on the...
Here, you can use this little bobble from the ground.
Alright.
Yeah.
It's fruit shaped. Come on.
It's perfect. It's almost perfect. There.
Useful.
Not even sure what it's from.
I was
Alright.
like, what the hell is
I
this?
have no
Sarah's like,
clue.
Anything
I have
else
no
on your
idea.
turn?
I don't even know.
That's my bonus action and my normal
It's okay.
action.
Roll me a perception check, Breeze.
It's perfect. It's sundrop fruit shaped. It's okay.
I have
Does that count?
It knocked into
It was
it.
18.
It was an
and my other
18
die
and
hit
he...
it.
What? No, it landed on 18 and then he...
And then he threw his other dice at it, knocked it over.
What? That's like if it fell off the table.
See this area right here? It's called a dice box.
Man.
Not my fault you didn't use it.
Well, it's not my fault he didn't use it either.
It's not our fault you didn't use it.
I
Let's all
am
gang up on
Yes.
Ransford.
Take a 13.
Take a 13?
Take a 13.
Alright.
That's bullshit.
You
Take
see a
13.
drop. I provided a whole table for you people. Fucking roll in it.
13. So it's gonna be
Well,
13
if you would have put the
plus
belt in it,
everything
maybe they
else?
would.
So I see. That's how it's
I'm the editor. I'm not complaining about it. I do it.
all right. So I saw it drop.
You totally see it drop.
Okay, cool.
Excellent job. Great teamwork, guys. Talos.
I was trying to pull an Ace Attorney at Laws. I object.
This is a cheertatorship, not a cheerocracy.
Is this distance correct? Like,
Yep.
Damn Patriot.
okay.
I was taking my pill.
What's up, Talos?
Oh, it's my turn now?
Yep.
Yes. I've got options. Not a lot, but I have options. Is my sanctuary still active on him? Or?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Alright.
Does it cancel if they get hit? They take damage?
If the enemy takes damage, or the,
If the affected creature... Okay.
If he makes an attack, it cancels.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Okay.
Or if you get hit and lose concentration.
Is it a concentration?
Yes.
Let's work on this.
It didn't say.
Let's work on this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just checking to make sure I wouldn't drop it if I had to cast also. It didn't say. So I'm going to... 1, 2, 3. I was trying to see if I could help him get the fruit, but I don't think I can.
Does anyone have Mage Hand? Does Mage Hand reach that far?
Oh, I think it's 30 feet.
Then you can pick up the fruit and hand it to me, and pull me out.
Can't pull you out with Mage Hand.
We can pull. They have rope that I'm tied to. And you're all in.
Oh, that's true.
You can all grab the rope and pull me out.
Alright.
All you need to do is hand me the fruit when we're out.
Alright. I'm going to cast Resistance on him so that he can add a d4 to... That one's concentration. Oh, crap.
It's touch.
Never mind. Then, Bless.
Okay. Bless on...
On him, and then who
Breeze.
else is in the front line? I'm going to give Adela, because she just splatted, and Nikos.
I had an idea and it didn't work.
So, now you can add a d4 to an attack roll or a saving throw.
And that is going to go to Listel.
Fuck you, use a spell slot, don't use a cantrip. See. Okay, so how tall is this tree?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Oh, I'm sorry. 30 feet's not correct. 15. 30 feet is the total height of it. 15 is the tree in the middle.
Okay, so the tree is 15, but to escape the grasp of the teeth is 30.
If it were fully up, it'd be 30 feet.
Okay. So listen, I know that there's a fruit that Nico so expertly put on the ground here,
Okay.
but I'm working on a plan to get Breeze to fruit and out of there at the same time.
Go for it.
All
So
right.
Listel is going to cast his brand new level 3 spell. Not level 3. His character is level 3. The spell is level 2. Levitate.
Okay. What is he levitating?
Breeze.
Can you do it from a distance?
Yep. I can see him.
Okay. Breeze. You float.
To the height of the fruit on the top.
I can fly? There we go!
This is better.
You can't fly. Levitate requires a force acting on you.
He does go up, but to move, forward and backwards, you do have to, pull yourself.
But I'm going straight up.
But you got
We
the
have
rope.
a rope.
Yes.
We have 100 feet of rope.
So you'll go up. You're already, in the tree's business.
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming when you go up, you'll be in the branches.
Yeah.
So you can,
Grab the fruit.
George
get
of
the
the
fruit and
Jungle.
stuff from there. And then when you're done, I can either get you above the treetops, or we can just yank. So that's my plan.
Alright.
So then you don't have to go through the spit again.
Good plan.
So you levitate him?
Yes.
10 feet up? Anything else on the stealth turn?
Actually, it can be up to 20. So it would be 15 feet.
Okay.
That's how high it is.
15 feet up. Adela,
Okay.
you are prone.
Okay. Okay. So So I am just going. Getting up takes my entire movement, huh? Or movement or action?
Half movement to get up.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna get up. And there's a tree that's right by me that I'm basically standing on at the moment.
You're basically laying next to it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get up. And because I just assumed that tree was part of the problem, I'm gonna stab with my trident.
Make an attack roll.
Not with that one.
Bless Adela.
If you make this thing close up again, I'm gonna be unhappy.
That'll be a 16. Oh, plus D4.
That'll hit.
Okay.
That'll hit.
Alright.
That's just fine.
Oh, so the trident's just fine, but my ray of frost just...
5, and then what do I add to it?
Strength.
Okay, so 6.
You guys have basically trounced this fight already. So I'll tell you how it works when we're done. Okay. Anything else?
I just was mad at a tree.
When you take your trident out and you stab a tree, the tree actually just kind of like wriggles in response to it. Less bark now. It seems like the bark seems to almost fall off to just kind of looks like a tendril.
Ew.
No, so no tree teeth. Just had some bad broccoli. So.
Everyone in the vicinity.
Anything else? All right, that's going to go to Cass.
So there's like a tree right here? Where is it?
I'm
under
on top of it.
Yeah, if you move Adela back.
Like here?
Yeah, sure. Whatever. As long as I can stab it, I don't care.
Where, are you here?
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't think we should kill the
wherever.
tree because this is our
I'm not in
important
this.
to that
I'm
to the
casting.
people.
I see Adela hit the tree. I'm gonna hit the tree.
You're going to go hit the tree too? Go hit the tree. Roll it up.
Beat up the tree.
It'll just be missing a tooth, you know, whatever.
19. Why
No,
don't
yeah, that hits.
All the space that's under your.
Because this
folder.
has felt.
It's got felt, man.
And since there's 2 cups, you could roll a d20 in one, and then the d4 in the other.
And then they wouldn't touch.
Then they wouldn't touch.
10 damage.
It's so much work.
No. 11 damage. I can't read.
Shit, alright.
Fuck them up.
What are you attacking with?
Long sword with both hands.
Okay, so Adela just jabs the tree and goes, you don't like this, so you run over and just Paul Bunyan slam into the side of this, and now this dark red sap just begins to leak out of the side of it as this tendril is just desperately swaying around.
Free action to...
I imagine everyone's like, "Ugh." Anything else in your turn?
No, that's it for now.
I was waiting for us to all be like, ugh, and then Nikos be like, I know what this is!
No, I already did that check. I never figured it out.
Tribute?
Cool. So I see that Breeze is now in the air. So I'm going to use my turn to go over to where the rope is still trailing. And I'm going to grab onto it and ready my action that if Breeze gets the fruit in his hands, I'm going to try and pull him out.
Okay. That is going to go to the... That's going to go to the large tree, and it is going to close.
Ow.
So that is going to be...
Is it making an attack on him?
Nope.
No, okay.
That is going to be Talos and Cass. Give me dexterity saving throws.
Oh, I wasn't there before. I was trying to be, like, out of its range. But I will do it anyway. That's not bad. 13.
13.
You both pass.
Hey.
You're able to jump backwards as this thing closes up.
So, yeah.
You're good where you're at.
Oh, okay.
But this thing closes up, and the wall is back. And that is going to go to Kaz.
Piss off, wall.
Well, that ruined my plans.
The
for
one they were
Kaz.
attacking, that formed with it, even though it's injured?
Yep, it wasn't dead.
Okay. But isn't like...
Oh yeah, like as they all go up rigid and snap, this one just kind of goes.
and just kind of like bounces off the edge of it.
Kind of
Is there a
gives us
hole
the
in it
finger
now?
a
It
little
just,
bit.
yeah, like that's how it feels right now. Yeah, what's that?
Is there a hole in it now?
At the top there might be,
Because he's wiggling.
but the solid wall on the sides have returned.
All right.
The previous damage, the scorch marks, all of that, it seems to have been washed away, recovered by the earth.
Oh.
So we can't see anything in here again, right?
Nope.
Just mock the trees.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna yell at the tree.
Psychic damage to the tree.
I'm curious what he yells.
What does he yell?
You're fucking gross? I don't know.
I got it. He steps forward and pulls a cord. Why don't you make like a tree and leaf? Everyone else around him, everyone takes damage. All right, he's gonna be. The tree is nope. All right, it fails. Go ahead and roll damage.
He goes, ow. That hurt.
Oh,
Just 1 damage.
one.
Hey man, 1 damage is better than no damage.
Disadvantage on his next attack, though, right?
Yep.
I don't even think it's making attacks. It's just existing.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about Boondock Saints when he says, make like a tree. Get the fuck out
Yeah.
of here.
Anything else?
He's gonna give a bardic inspiration to tribute, since he has the rope.
Breeze, you are floating now 15 feet. At the very top of this tree, you see that the large green branches and the foliage are bearing yellow, rounded fruits that look like they're tied at the end.
Like a candy.
I'm gonna take out my bag of holding and grab as many as I can and put them in the bag.
All right, you just start grabbing them. Roll a d6.
Man.
You grab 5 and you shove them in the bag.
I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave.
Action and interact with the with that. You grabbed 5 of them. That's
Okay.
that'll be your action.
Let me see. Is vicious? No, it's not. Okay, and I'm gonna scream, pull!
Man.
Perception check.
But does he really want me to pull him now?
Get him through the wiggling one.
Performance.
Performance. Performance?
Yes.
To be heard.
Because it would be athletics to call it out, but because you're a bard and you're used to pushing your voice, it'd be performance.
15.
Oh, I also rolled a 15.
You hear each other just fine.
I hear him yell pull, but I'm gonna wait till this thing is open so I don't just slam him against the trees.
Like, listen, I'm levitating. If you
All right.
pull, you just pull me up and out.
All right,
Well,
hold
then
on.
pull me
Hold on a
in.
minute. I like that too much. What's your intelligence?
Listen, man.
Give me the athletics check, Smarty.
I have common sense.
You are paladins.
You're right, my wisdom's 10 too. It's all 14 for athletics.
You start. You are at 15. You are now at 20.
All right. Can I do anything else this turn? I don't think I have any bonus actions, do I?
You are tied to a rope.
I am tied to a rope. Can I climb the rope?
Absolutely.
I will attempt to climb the rope to get further up.
All right, so you are 20 feet. With 20 feet of movement, you can pretty much climb to the top. And as you've climbed to the top, where you see it closed in, you see that there's an opening. One you feel like you might be able to pull yourself through with a proper athletics check.
Can I make that check?
Give it a roll.
Add a d4 to it.
Add a
Because of
D4.
bless.
So I had 2d4. Right? Because of
Yeah.
Yep,
Jack of all trades. 18.
you got it.
Make sure they don't hit that 18.
Got it?
All right, so as you're reaching up and you're starting to pull yourself out, it senses this and it starts trying to close down. It starts trying to close you down in it. And then everyone roll me a perception check.
Ooh. 19.
I see nothing.
Oh.
I'm just watching the empty.
16.
Who rolled above a 12?
Tribute did.
No.
What everyone but Adela sees is that scene from Ace Ventura 2
Oh, with the rhino?
With the rhino, where he punches his way out and he starts kind of ripping himself out of the back end of this mechanical. It's essentially that. It's just Breeze just hand coming out, another hand, and just ripping himself out of the top of this plant. And as you pull yourself up, it tries to collapse around your legs, but you just pull out your leg, and as you go tumbling down, you think you're gonna fall 30 feet, but you're like, and they just gently float. With that,
How long
go
does
ahead.
levitate last?
Whatever it is, give it a go.
I want to pull out my loot and play float on.
Performance check.
16, 19. Or 18.
And with this, the chords and melodies of Modest Mouse flow down, which personally, I love this image. I love the animation of just him floating up there, proud and relaxed, playing these chords, all sitting down there, looking up, weapons in hands, goop pouring out. This thing opens back up, hoping one of you is willing enough to climb back into its mouth. Well, Sarah giving the whole table the finger, it is obvious that they won't. Pulling Breeze back down to the ground, it is time to leave.
Yeah.
Is there any last moments or last thoughts?
Everybody get the fuck out before the portal closes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of feel bad for this tree, but I'm gonna just leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I'm not
Before we
gonna be
leave-
that sap that's like, I'm gonna heal the tree.
I will heal the tree because I'm pretty sure it's a sacred tree for the.
Remove your
for
inspiration for saying the sap.
How did I say
I'm not going to be the sap who heals the tree.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose.
Remove it.
That
It's
wasn't
gone.
even on purpose.
It's out of here.
I was like, did I say that?
Yep.
As we leave, I will cast healing word on the tree because I know the tree was just trying. It didn't mean to just kill us. It was just trying to eat.
Yeah, see, that's what I was
The
thinking. I
animal.
was like, man, it's just living its life.
So I'm gonna cast healing word on it.
All right. The tree that the one tree, the long tendril that has the large gash from the vicious strike by Cass, you see it begin to stitch up. The sap begins to crystallize and harden. It's beginning its own natural healing process. You all leave.
Yes. Yes.
As you walk out, the portal begins to close. The mist hardens and disperses, and there's nothing but swamp behind you.
Alright. I was afraid that once we all went in the portal, it would just close behind us and we'd be like, left in the fucking Feywild.
I guess the
So I'm
campaign's in the Feywild now.
glad it didn't happen. That's why when
Please
Cass
roll
went
me a
in, I went,
perception
I'm
check.
afraid.
What side
Oh, no.
quest? We live here.
Oh no.
Literally when Cass
We
came
gave-
in, I'm like,
Oh
Oh
great.
no.
what was it?
Natural one.
Natural one.
For what?
Perception check.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, as you're all walking out, Breeze is kind of ruffling through his bag of holding, making sure everything that was once there is still. He does not notice something fly out of his pocket. Everyone else does. Nikos especially notices a fairy beginning to come out of his pocket.
I'm just going to sort of wave at the fairy and say hello in Sylvan.
Salute.
And I understand this too because I speak Sylvan.
I also
Yep.
speak Sylvan.
Yeah.
Everyone who speaks Sylvan sees and hears this fairy.
I don't hear it.
Didn't even
It's
know.
like
You
next to
you
me.
hear the tiny voice now.
Okay.
Yeah, you hear it now.
I see
It says, hey, look, listen.
You turn around and you see it. A small fairy.
Does it have
Glowing wings, little green dress,
Tinkerbell.
but it's a guy.
Well.
Salute.
I just
Fern
give it-
Gully.
I give it a nervous wave.
Thank you. And it waves back and it says in common, "Were you the pocket I was just in?
Yes.
Thank you. I have been meaning to make it to the material plane."
Why?
Nikos?
Hi. Why did you come here?
You are one of them. One of the Eladrin.
Yes.
He goes, I couldn't be so blessed as to make it to the material plane and see the Eladrin. Die! And it lunges at you.
Can I grab it?
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Dexterity check.
At the middle of the air.
I knew that was coming. As soon as he went, you're one of them. I was like, that's not good.
Okay.
Legit gave me a little heart attack there.
I was
8.
prepared.
Yeah, you swing for it, but it just swerves through your fingers, and it is going a straight line right after Nikos.
All right.
Saving throw? You still have bless.
I still have bless.
I was making an attack.
It's making an attack, so
Making an
it's
attack.
Yeah, but if
versus
he
my
has to throw a
AC.
saving throw to
Yeah.
not,
Wait, do I still have plus?
No, you used it.
Okay.
I thought it was an ongoing thing.
It's concentration.
Wouldn't you still be kind?
I don't know. Now that we're not in danger, I didn't think about it. If that is, that's cheap as fuck, and I love it.
Yeah, it's like a minute long bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lasts some good time.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. It lunges forward, pulling from its side a small splint of wood, and as it leaps towards your face, it thrusts it in, and it just doesn't nothing. That's it.
Yeah. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
All right. I'm just gonna kind of swat at it and be like,
Make an attack.
all right, unarmed strike,
You got the bless.
unarmed strike, and I've got bless. I am proficient in unarmed strikes, right? Yeah, I had my proficiency bonus. So I'll get another d4 on top of this. Oh, 7, 11,
Oh.
13?
As you try to swat at it, it just very nimbly flies out of your range, preparing its next attack.
Bonus action to hex it for dexterity.
It's like die, Imperial! As the black smoke begins to just fill its lungs. Cass, it's your turn.
Oh, we're still going through initiative. Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing it. We're doing a round.
Okay.
If this kills anyone, you're not coming back.
You died to a fairy.
You died to a fairy. You're out of here.
Tal's got everything he ever wanted.
I guess I'm just going to ask, why are you trying so hard to kill him?
They've been harvesting our lands, taking our trees.
Well, I don't think he has any control over that.
And he's one of them.
That's racist.
I mean,
He goes, fuck you, devil skin!
It's on!
I guess we're about to stomp our racist fairy.
This fairy's about to get smacked to the ground.
I really just want to catch it and drown it.
All right, Cass.
I'm going to try to catch it now.
All right. This is going to be disadvantage on its dexterity, so give it a roll.
Okay.
That's going to be your athletics.
Oh,
You catch it. Mark me up for a 1.
He's just blinded by rage.
Oh, you're catching him?
yeah, I'm catching him.
That was my.
I think that was all of our
I mean, I was gonna
plans.
throw a stone at it, so you know.
So this thing turns around, makes a racial slur, and with your cupped hands you go like that, and you just feel these tiny little pricks, like it's just with all of its might.
Please phrase that better.
And it, and you have it in your hand.
Should I squish it for what it said?
I'm gonna look at Nikos.
I believe that's
What
a
do you
little too
think?
far.
And I'm just gonna say like, it's just gonna try and attack us again.
Is he really a threat, though?
No, but he's just he's not a threat. Let it go.
Shake him and knock him out, and we'll leave him.
I'm gonna bring him with us and teach him
that's a bit much.
how not to be racist.
See? I was gonna say, what can we barter for in Tabaxi Town with a fairy?
Oh no.
I'm sure.
Listell's gonna pipe up. A lot. A fairy?
I'm gonna
Wait, who's got a jar?
I'm gonna go into my bag of holding and pull out a jar.
Alright, poke a hole in the top.
I'm gonna poke some holes in top. Let's put this fairy in this jar.
You're able to slide the fairy in the jar, quickly turn it up, and it's just, and it's no longer mad. It's just sitting at the end of it's just sitting at the side of the jar, just with its hands up, pressed against the glass, and just staring.
Can I talk to the jar? Just like.
You guys want to do it while you're walking back?
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to talk to it about?
That was frankly unnecessary. He never did anything to you. You never did anything to him. It was.
Well, he did do
irrelevant.
something to him.
Well, yes, now, but he's not even in the Feywild anymore.
He was in the Feywild, attacking our homes, killing our wildlife.
Well, now he's here, and you're here. So get over it.
You made your way to the material plane. That's what you wanted.
Being the adult in the situation always.
I'm just there. I'm just like, look, he's not wrong. I mean, he's wrong about me specifically. I never did any of that stuff, but my family with the House of Falling Leaves was kind of involved in building a large development through a forest. I mean, we put the houses in the trees, so I thought that would be better, but I guess not.
And that's why you will be known as the house, and he just falling heads.
Well, you shouldn't judge him based on his family.
No,
But I was right. His family did it.
Yeah,
he
but
must
I know
pay
what
for
you're
the
thinking.
blood.
But he didn't do it specifically.
Do you really, though?
It's close enough.
Yeah,
Revenge is
he's got a
easy.
good wisdom.
Just get in there somewhere.
It's not revenge, it's pointless murder.
You know, your revenge, my pointless murder. Let me out.
No.
I mean, there is a certain thing to be said for the fact that the revenge kind of is pointless murder.
No.
No?
I mean, vengeance is actually has a point.
Yeah, she's right.
But would killing him change anything?
Make me feel better.
Well, a lot of things could make you feel better. I bet not being in a jar is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
do I have
I
anything
suggest
to
you
drink?
calm down.
Does anyone have anything to drink?
I could drown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all have water skins. I'm
No.
pretty
I'm
sure.
just saying alcoholic.
Oh, no.
Because I want to just drop like a drop of alcohol.
So your walk
Pickled
is
cherry.
surprisingly hastened today. The 4 to 6 hour walk now takes 3 to 4.
See, I was going to try to make friends with him until he started being an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
could.
won't let me shake his jar.
I am... Oh, but can I
drown.
just hold on to him? Because I'm kind of scared for this guy. Like, I
No.
don't wanna,
He's my fairy. Keep him in my pocket.
I don't want to hurt him.
I'm not
though.
gonna hurt him. I'm just gonna shake
I mean,
him a
I
little
guess.
bit.
See? I guess throwing to squish him was kind of
Yes.
over the top.
Completely unnecessary.
Cass says, but think about this. Shake him, 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 shake him.
Now, if you guys were in a big jar, I bet you wouldn't be having the same attitude.
You know, I heard fairy tastes pretty good.
Yeah, but whoever has me in a jar probably shake me.
I just give you this look
I'm
like
giving you a look that I'm joking.
God put you in
All
a jar.
right.
You think he wouldn't shake you?
I give
I
you a
would
look
pray
that that's
not.
not funny.
Cass says, how do we know we're not in a big jar? Shake him, shake him, shake him, shake him, shake him.
Can we not be the better people for once?
No,
No.
shake him.
No, we're being the worst people today.
So with that,
Yes, we can not be the better people.
you arrive back at Tabaxi Town.
What says? I think I'm the youngest of this group.
Yeah.
I'm the most mature.
No, you're not.
Nikos is
Yeah,
like 20.
14.
Oh, 14.
Yes.
No.
So you're also the leader.
So Chalice is just keeping this jar like close to his chest.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, just a little bit, come on.
So you arrive back at Tabaxi Town. Seeing you out in the distance, the Namor Payne comes out to meet you. When he does, he waits for Breeze to approach, and he says, "Well, son, what is it you have found?"
I'm gonna reach into my bag and present one of the fruit and say, "Are these the fruits you spoke of?
He says, "Ah, yes, the sun-drop fruits." And he takes them and he holds them up. And when he does...
I only presented one.
That's fine. Everyone roll me a perception check.
There's the 3. I was doing too well all
Tribute,
night.
entirely enamored by it.
Soft one.
Beautiful, it's amazing.
9, 3,
I lost that.
7.
15.
Soft one.
7.
17.
As you look, as the sun bounces off of this beautiful yellowed skin, Adela and Cass go, "That's a lemon." He then breaks it in half, and he hands one end to you, and he says, "This is the gift of our people.
Oh.
Eat this whole, and you shall be one of
no.
us."
Man.
Do it.
As a child, I could have done this challenge like 7 times over.
Alright. Just eat it.
Okay. You take a huge bite into it, Constitution saving
Oh,
throw.
skin and all, too?
Yep.
Oh, man.
I could have
I did that
done
as a
this.
kid. It's not fun.
She's like, I can do it, but I like
17.
sour stuff.
17.
Yeah.
You bite into this lemon, and you've had a lemon before, but not so raw, so your cheeks kind of pucker. But it puckers stronger than it has ever before. Something about this lemon, extra sour. And you feel like your face might just implode in on itself, but then there's this deep force inside of you. And you bring it up through your chest, and it puffs back out your cheeks. And as you exhale, a mighty exhales. And you have learned Call of My People.
Call.
You can now expend as many of your bardic inspirations to anyone who can hear you. So you can give them all out at once if you want.
Okay.
That's impressive.
He says...
I'm gonna eat some lemons.
And Namor Payne looks to you and he says, "You've done well."
Did you say he's in more pain?
Fuck you.
Oh my god, Sarah.
I'm gonna pat him on the back. Oh my god.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
That is actually what I thought of.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking of the anime scene where in their
Yeah.
Yakuza and they don't have the sake, so they suck the lemon.
Suck this and you'll become one of us.
So
It's just with that dramatic music, it's so perfect.
So
Sorry.
as you walk past, he looks over to Talos and he goes, that's his... It's never easy. Say, is that a fairy?
Yes, it is.
Breeze, come back.
Come back.
He just whoop, turns around. It is rare that we should ever see such a thing.
Oh, him? The little fairy?
Yes. For our people, it is not even once a generation, it is once many generations, seemingly at random, that we should be blessed with a fairy.
Blessed?
Yes, very blessed.
He's a little dick.
Oh, they're racist as fuck. But
Can I just peek in and ask, what would you do with a fairy?
And he looks over and he says, "Hand him to me."
You're not gonna shake him, are you?
I promise I will not shake him. I'm not a child.
Thank you, I appreciate that sentiment.
And he takes it
And shakes him.
and he says, "I'm over 800 years old." Breeze.
Mhm.
And he hands you the jar. He says, "Do not shake him."
Resisting
Fairies.
with all my might.
Fairies in our culture represent something great. A step into a new realm of understanding. A step into greater understanding of magic.
Please don't eat the fairy.
You need only consume the fairy to gain its magic.
Damn it!
This is gruesome. I apologize.
Madness check.
but you must consume it alive.
I'm just gonna say what it would
With disadvantage.
Squished.
And the second one was a natural 20, so.
Did they taste good?
I don't know. Not even in my lifetime have I seen it.
How about we don't eat them?
I'm with Talos.
Yeah.
I understand.
I'd like to see what happens.
I understand, but I ask your understanding of being in a foreign land with a foreign people. You are witnessing a landmark moment in our culture. I ask you put yourselves aside and allow our people to be our people.
But you want the Breeze, who just joined your tribe, to ingest the fairy?
It is his choice.
Alright, that's fair.
The magic I gain will it help me to find my family?
If that is your goal in this world, any power will help you on your way.
I know you guys are going to judge me for this. I'm just going to open it, grab the fairy.
It looks you in the eye and goes, "Fuck you, pussy."
Alright, I was gonna let him go, but here we go!
You put him in your mouth and you hear blood dribbles down his mouth.
Talos vomits.
Alright.
Nico?
I mean, I was gonna start yelling, "Do it!" if he didn't do it soon. So.
Okay,
That was
so
my
I think I
constitution check.
resist vomiting because I got a 16, but I definitely get another Magnus check.
I crit failed on my
Critical
check.
And I definitely, I'm looking at this and I'm like horrified, like.
With that, you bite down, you chew, the bones crack and crunch in your mouth. The irony taste of blood fills, and as you swallow the corpse whole, you are now a glamour bard.
Nice.
Nice.
Ah, dude!
Who else is ready to get their level 3 shit?
And not if I have to eat a fucking fairy.
It's gotta be something like that.
You have to tell me no.
So we'll update your sheet for next session. With that, you head to the temple.
Crit failed on my contract, though. That was so bad.
Is now, at this point of the day, you see that the Tabaxi, they are all bowing. And at the very top of this massive temple, these stairs that lead up, you see there's a large, imposing figure. This beautiful robes down of this over 7 foot tall, wide as he is tall, this masculine, muscular figure. Priest-like robes adorn him. He has black fur with orange stripes almost splashed throughout him, like a dark painting with orange paint thrown across. He comes down and people begin to murmur and chant at his dissension. And you stand, Breeze, alone at the end. At the end of this walkway, a runway up to Mialo. What do you do?
I walk towards him.
You walk up and you are dwarfed by this figure.
I will bow to him and I will say, "Are you the sun god?" What if he's not? What if he's just the sun god's emissary?
I am the sun god's emissary. And he turns around, revealing a large orange cat. Breeze, is that you?
Frisky?
Oh my god! What are you doing here, Breeze?
You're Meowlo?
I am! I'm apparently a sun god!
Well, I'm here to see you!
It's perfect!
I guess it is.
Where is Addie?
It must be destiny, and he reaches out only to see that he is constricted like a baby born.
Yes!
Baby Bjorn. He's being carried on his back, and he just kind of reaches out for you. And that is where we're going to end today's session.
And
Called it. I definitely called that earlier. I said, is it going to be Frisky?
where is Addie when I need him?
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you have any questions or want to talk about your favorite part of the campaign so far, you can find us on Twitter at Quips and Crits or at Quips and Crits on Facebook. And make sure you rate and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. But check out our Tumblr or Reddit for character profiles, maps, essays, and just a bunch of other shit from the... Ooh, I swore. And a bunch of other stuff from the cast. Today's music is brought to you by Leon Lischner and friends, and Dennis Murphy's Polka. Links in description.
Long white robe, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside.